Youth die in a gunshot in Siraha as authorities impose indefinite curfew. Prime Minister Balendra Shah to address the nation. President Paudel urges peace and unity after Sunsari incident, calls for social harmony, dialogue and legal action to restore calm. Nepal Security Council reviews Sunsari situation, calls for stronger coordination to prevent future incidents. US launches major airstrikes on Iran, hostilities escalate into fifth month. 11 Pakistani police killed in checkpoint ambush. Drone-led attack raises border security fears. And UEFA weighs World Cup boycott over FIFA plan. Infantino's $20 billion proposal sparks backlash. Good evening, I'm Smriti Singh Thamang and this is NTV World Primetime News. We're coming to you live from Kathmandu at 1900 hours Nepal time. Elsewhere, it's 13:15 in London, 22:15 in Tokyo and just after midnight in Sydney. Now the news in detail. Prime Minister Balendra Shah is scheduled to address the nation this evening, according to the Prime Minister's Secretariat. The Secretariat said the Prime Minister Shah will deliver a public address, although the exact time has not yet been announced. The address comes after a meeting between Prime Minister Shah and Home Minister Sudan Gurung. Following the meeting with Prime Minister Shah, Minister Gurung is leaving for Sunsari to assess the latest security situation and receive a briefing from local authorities. Minister Gurung is scheduled to meet the families of Om Prakash Mehta, who died in a clash in Sunsari on July 26, and Jai Prakash Mehta, who sustained injuries in the same incident and breathed his last while undergoing treatment today. Minister for Health and Food Hygiene Nisha Mehta is also travelling to Sunsari along with the Home Minister. Sunsari is the home district of Minister Mehta. Authorities in Nepal's Siraha district have imposed a curfew in parts of Gol Bazar municipality following concerns over possible unrest and disruption to public order. The district administration office said the restrictions were introduced after reviewing the local security situation and the risk of protests and disturbances. The curfew, effective from 2 p.m. until further notice, covers several areas around the east-west highway and nearby wards of Gol Bazar. Officials have urged residents to remain indoors except for essential activities and warned that violations of the order could lead to legal action. Security forces have been placed on alert with increased monitoring in affected areas to maintain peace and stability. Also in neighbouring Dhanusha district, an indefinite curfew has been enforced following concerns over public order and possible unrest. The restrictions introduced by the district administration officers prohibit movement, gatherings, demonstrations and public assemblies in designated areas. Officials have urged residents to cooperate with the orders, warning that violations could lead to legal action. Security forces have been placed on alert with increased surveillance as authorities work to restore calm and maintain peace in the affected regions. In Parsa district, the local administration has imposed restrictions on gatherings and public demonstrations in designated areas of Birgun's metropolitan city amid security concerns. The district administration office said the order, effective from 5 p.m. today until 6 a.m. Friday, bans gatherings of 5 or more people, rallies, assemblies and protests within the specified boundaries. Meanwhile, situation in Nepal's Sunsari district has remained relatively peaceful as authorities continue enforcing a curfew following tensions triggered by a recent incident in Dewanganj rural municipality. A multi-party and multi-stakeholder meeting involving political leaders, civil society representatives, community leaders, local administration and security officials issued a 5-point commitment to maintain peace, security and social harmony. The agreement called for rejecting violence and retaliation, resolving disputes through dialogue, preventing the spread of provocative content on social media, and strengthening cooperation among communities. Despite the agreement, curfew restrictions remain in sensitive areas, including Inarua, Dewanganj, Harinagar, Koshi Rural Municipality, and parts of Duhabi Municipality, with authorities saying further decisions will be made after reviewing the security situation. Nepal's President Ramchandra Paudel has urged citizens to maintain peace, social harmony and national unity following a recent incident in Kaptanganj of Sunsari's Dewanganj rural municipality. In a statement, President Paudel expressed condolences to those who lost their lives and extended sympathy to the bereaved families while wishing a speedy recovery for the injured. He said efforts should continue to restore normalcy, maintain security and bring daily life back to normal. The President also appealed to political parties, civil society and communities to uphold mutual respect, tolerance, dialogue and cooperation during the difficult period. The President called on authorities to ensure that those responsible for any wrongdoing are dealt with according to the law and urged all sides to work together to protect Nepal's long-standing traditions of social, religious and cultural harmony. The 43rd meeting of the National Security Council, NSC, has decided to make coordination among all security bodies and stakeholders more effective to maintain social harmony and national unity. The meeting, presided over by Prime Minister and Chairperson of the NSC, Balendra Shah, held at the Office of the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers, Singapore, today, reviewed the overall security situation of the country, and Sunsari incident occurred on July 26, said Council's Member Secretary and Secretary of the Defence Ministry, Kedarnath Sharma. Sharma mentioned that a decision was also taken to carry out work more efficiently in order to maintain social harmony and national unity by coordinating with all security bodies and stakeholders to prevent such incidents in future. Similarly, discussion was also held on strengthening cooperation between the bodies concerned to effectively operate search, rescue and relief activities in disaster incidents on time. On the occasion, Foreign Minister Shishir Khanal said the meeting was briefed that the situation of Sunsari has started being normalized from collective efforts of political parties, local stakeholders and security bodies. Nepal's parliament has seen renewed calls for prime ministerial clarification over earlier border-related remarks as opposition lawmakers pressed the government on the issue during the House of Representatives meeting today. Lawmakers also raised concerns over the recent unrest in Sunsari's Kaptanganj, calling for an impartial investigation into the death of a local youth and urging authorities to ensure accountability while maintaining peace and security. Members from different parties emphasized dialogue, restraint and cooperation to address tensions, protect citizens and strengthen social harmony across the country. We're going for a short break here. More news coming up. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching NTV World Primetime News. Now more from the National Front. Nepal's President Ramchandra Paudel has appointed a new Chief Election Commissioner and two election commissioners following the recommendation of the Constitutional Council in accordance with the country's constitution. Man Bahadur Karki of Morong has been appointed as Chief Election Commissioner, while Guru Prasad Wagle of Okhaldunga and Dr. Rajiv Subba of Kathmandu have been appointed as Election Commissioners. The Department of Passport at Tripureshwar in Kathmandu is one of the crowded places among government installations. The department prints passports in fast-track mode for those who are in urgent need and willing to pay extra for the service. With the recent change in the service system and the vendor, the department's printing ability has come down to 1,500 copies per day, while there are more than 5,000 applicants every day. Diksha Avasthi, along with Pawan Barsha Shah, brings more.
As the number of people collecting passports at the Department of Passport in Tripureshwar continues to rise, police have been struggling to manage the overwhelming crowds and long queues. The congestion clearly reflects the difficulties people are facing in obtaining passports. The rush began after South Korea announced applications for its employment permit system, or EPS, prompting thousands of Nepalis to seek passports. Due to the overwhelming demand, applicants now have to wait about 1 week to receive their passports after completing biometric enrollment. Previously, passports were issued within 48 hours of the application.
5 दिनदेखि हो 5 दिनदेखि आज बल्ल लाइन पाछु हिजो चाहिँ म कहाँ धाएँ भन्दा 20 नम्बर कोठामा गएँ वास्तवले के भन्नुभयो एकपटक सर्भर र स्लट पाउने कहिले पाउने भन्ने कुरा म कन्फ्युज थिए के स्लट कति बेला पाउने सर्भर खुल्ने कति बेला उहाँ भाइले भन्दै हुनुहुन्थ्यो सोमबार मेरो काम चाहिँ 18 गतेसम्म जसरी पनि हुनै पर्ने म ईपीएस को लागि आको ईपीएस को फर्म बन्द हुने अब धेरै छैन
आज 1-2 हप्ता जति भयो हैन अनि पाकै थिएन कति धेरै के अब 15 मिनेट जति खोल्नी फेरि बन्द भइहाल्यो भनेर म अस्ति यहाँ आएको थिए पुरै प्याक भएको भएर अनि मैले चाहिँ त्यो घर नजिकैकोबाट आज 1 हप्ता जति भयो मैले ट्राई गरेको अनि आज चाहिँ बिहान खोलेको भएर ठ्याक्कै बिहान फर्म चाहिँ भर्न पाए अझ मेरो त अहिले बेलुकाको 5:40 को डेट पाएको थियो
पासपोर्ट त अहिले अलि गाह्रै छ पासपोर्ट लिनको लागि लाइन पनि धेरै मान्छे पनि धेरै छौं.
The department received around 2,000 passport applications per day a week ago. That number has now increased to more than 5,000 daily after the announcement of the new EPS recruitment scheme. However, the department is currently printing only 1,500 passports each day. The Department of Passports say the crowd has also grown because the new e-passports are not yet being distributed from district offices, forcing applicants to travel to the central office. Officials say the new e-passport system is still in its initial implementation phase, making it difficult to meet demand both at the central office and in the districts. The department also states technical testing of the e-passport printing system is still underway. Officials expect to be able to print passports according to the demand within weeks.
3 महिनाको स्टेबलाइजेसन टाइममा लिनु भने यो 3 महिना चाहिँ अलि एरर बढी हुने हुनाले केही कुरा एब्नर्मल हुन्छ कि भन्ने एक्सपेक्टेसन हो हैन. र अहिले लास्ट 3 वीक्स हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ एरर रेट शार्पली डाउन भएको छ. जसले गर्दाखेरि अब सायद मेरो 1-2 हप्तामा चाहिँ हामी फुल्ली नर्मल हुन्छ जस्तो लाग्छ मेरो एक्सपेक्टेसन चाहिँ.
In response to the growing demand, the department has announced that from Thursday until August 7, passport applications will be accepted in 2 shifts from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m.
हामीले आजको मिति एउटा 2टा शिफ्टमा गर्ने भनेर डिसिजन गरेको हैन. बिहान 7 बजेदेखि 2 बजेसम्म एउटा अनि 2 बजेसम्म राति 9 बजेसम्म एउटा. किनभने खास गरी अहिले ईपीएस को हुनाले कारणले गर्दा डिमान्ड बढेको छ. मान्छे धेरै एप्लाई गर्न चाहन्छन् अनि जसले गर्दा भिड पनि बढाएको छ. केही हदसम्म त भिड पनि म्यानेज होस् भनेर पनि बिहान चाँडै सुरु गर्ने हिसाबले र बेलुका अबेरसम्म गर्ने हिसाबले राखेको सुरु गरेको.
The government has signed an agreement within a German company to procure and print 6.4 million e-passports over the next 5 years. The new e-passports currently being distributed are being produced under that agreement.
Snakebite incidents have increased across Nepal during the monsoon season, with government data recording more than 600 cases and 53 deaths since mid-April. According to the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Authority (NDRRMA), 600 snake bite cases were reported between April 14 and July 30 as heavy rainfall, flooding and waterlogging pushed snakes closer to human settlements. Experts say expanding settlements, habitat loss, unplanned urban growth and rising temperatures are also contributing to more frequent encounters between humans and snakes. Authorities have urged the public to take preventive measures and seek immediate medical treatment after snake bites instead of relying on traditional remedies. The government is coordinating with local authorities and stakeholders to improve awareness and access to timely treatment. Time again for a short break. We shall see you at the other side.
Incidents have increased significantly in recent months in Nepal. According to official statistics, since mid-April, 53 people have died and more than 600 have been injured due to snake bites across the country. Since the onset of the monsoon, snakebite cases have been rising across different parts of the country. Experts say heavy rainfall, flooding and waterlogging in farmlands and residential areas force snakes to seek safer shelter near human settlements, increasing the risk of encounters. In addition, the expansion of human settlements, shrinking forest areas, unplanned urbanization, and rising temperatures have also contributed to the growing number of snakebite incidents. According to the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Authority, more than 600 cases of snakebite were reported between April 14 and July 30, resulting in 53 deaths. During the same period last year, only around 200 snakebite cases were recorded, although the death toll was slightly higher at 58. The government has been coordinating with local governments and relevant stakeholders to implement various programs aimed at reducing snakebite incidents and ensuring timely treatment for victims. Authorities concerned and experts have recommended various measures to prevent snakebite and, above all, raising awareness. Increasing human activities and the destruction of their natural habitats have led to more frequent snake-human encounters and snakebite incidents of late. Therefore, greater public awareness and precautionary measures are essential to reduce the risk of snake bites. Sabika Shrestha along with Pawan Barsasa with support from Bara district correspondent Guru Gautam reporting for NTV World.
Time again for a short break. We shall see you at the other side with international updates. The United States has launched a major wave of airstrikes against Iran, targeting dozens of Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps military sites in retaliation for Iran's attempted missile attacks on American forces. According to U.S. Central Command, the strikes hit missile and drone facilities, command centers and coastal defense sites after Iran fired ballistic missiles at a U.S. base in Jordan and targeted ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian state media says at least 3 people, including a 2-year-old child, were killed in one of the strikes, while several locations across southern and western Iran were hit. The latest escalation follows months of fighting between Washington and Tehran, despite recent hopes for diplomatic talks and efforts by Saudi Arabia to reduce tensions. The conflict has now entered its 5th month with no signs of a ceasefire, as both sides continue exchanging military attacks across the region. Mediator Pakistan confirmed on Thursday that negotiations between the United States and Iran were ongoing during a flare-up in fighting across the Middle East.
Amid the prevailing tensions and hostilities, Pakistan reiterates that dialogue and diplomacy remains the only viable path forward. We welcome all efforts aimed at sustaining cessation of hostilities and resumption of dialogue between Iran and the United States.
Oman has proposed a joint mechanism with Iran to manage shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, including a voluntary fee system to support maritime safety, according to a Gulf source. The proposal comes as Iran, Oman and Saudi Arabia step up diplomatic efforts to ensure the security of the strategic waterway following recent regional tensions. Iran says discussions with Oman have made progress on plans to guarantee the safe passage of ships while respecting the sovereignty of both coastal nations. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump has claimed that the United States controls access to the Strait of Hormuz and that restrictions on Iranian shipping remain in place. The strait remains a critical global energy route, with shipping traffic still below normal levels following weeks of conflict and heightened security concerns. Russian missile and drone attacks have killed at least 8 people and injured dozens across Ukraine, prompting renewed appeals from Kiev for more air defense support from its Western allies. One of the deadliest strikes hit home near Kryvyi, killing 6 members of the same family, including 3 children, while attacks also caused casualties in Kiev, Poltava and Lviv. Ukraine says Russia launched 74 missiles and 284 drones overnight, with its air force intercepting most drones and more than 50 missiles, though ballistic missiles remain a major challenge. President Volodymyr Zelensky has urged allies to speed up deliveries of Patriot air defense systems, saying stronger protection is critical as Russian long-range attacks intensify. The latest strikes come amid continued escalation in the nearly 4.5-year war, with the United Nations warning that civilian casualties have reached their highest level since 2022. The death toll from a powerful earthquake in southwestern Japan has risen to 34 as rescue teams continue searching for survivors in Kumamoto Prefecture. The magnitude 6.8 quake caused widespread destruction, collapsing homes, damaging infrastructure and triggering a shopping mall collapse and a suspected gas explosion that claimed several lives. More than 9,000 people remain in evacuation centers, while over 30,000 households are still without electricity as authorities race to restore essential services. Rescue efforts are being complicated by extreme heat, with temperatures expected to reach 39 degrees Celsius, raising concerns over heat stroke among displaced residents and emergency workers. More than 100 aftershocks have been recorded since Tuesday's quake, as thousands of rescue personnel continue searching through the rubble for survivors. Time again for a short break. We shall see you back with more from International. France has experienced its worst wildfire since 1949, with a massive blaze in the Gironde region, forcing more than 220,000 people to evacuate. The fire has burned around 30,000 hectares of forest, destroyed homes, disrupted road and rail transport, and triggered one of the country's largest emergency responses, involving more than 3,300 firefighters, military personnel, aircraft, and international support. Authorities say the blaze was intensified by extreme heat, drought, strong winds, and a rare fire thunderstorm known as a pyrocumulonimbus. The wildfire is believed to have started during a brush clearing operation near a power line. President Emmanuel Macron has called for forests to be rebuilt with greater resilience to climate change, warning that such mega fires are becoming an increasingly frequent threat. Thousands of people have been evacuated from the Greek island of Crete as powerful wildfires, fueled by strong winds, continue to threaten tourist resorts and nearby villages. Around 8,000 residents and visitors were evacuated overnight in the Rhythemno region, where wind gusts reached up to 125 kilometers per hour, making firefighting efforts extremely difficult. The fires have claimed the lives of 3 firefighters, including 2 on Crete, while hundreds of firefighters remain on the front lines battling the fast-moving blaze. The crisis comes as much of southern Europe faces extreme heat, with major wildfires also forcing evacuations in Spain, Portugal and Turkey. Forecasters warn that dangerous fire conditions are expected to spread further across Europe in the coming days as the continent continues to experience severe heat and drought. At least 11 police officers have been killed and 28 others injured after heavily armed attackers ambushed a police checkpoint in Pakistan's northwestern Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. According to police, the attackers first used explosive-laden drones to strike the checkpoint before launching a coordinated assault, triggering hours of intense fighting. Security forces say 15 attackers were killed during the gun battle, while several police vehicles were destroyed or seized. No group has claimed responsibility, but the attack comes days after a deadly suicide bombing claimed by the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, also known as the Pakistan Taliban. The latest violence underscores growing security concerns along the Pakistan-Afghanistan border, where attacks on military and police forces have sharply increased in recent months. The final grand procession of the Esala Perahera at Sri Lanka's historic Ruhunu Maha Kataragama Devalaya took place last night, bringing to a close one of the country's most significant religious and cultural festivals. President Anura Kumara Dissanayake attended the ceremony alongside thousands of devotees and visitors. The 14-day celebration began with the traditional Seth Pirith chanting ceremony and drew worshippers and visitors from across the country. Following long-standing tradition, the grand procession travelled from the Mahadevalaya to the Kiri Vihara Raja Mahaviharya before continuing along the outer streets to the Valiamma Devalaya. After religious rituals were completed, the procession returned to the Mahadevalaya via Sri Abhirama Viharaya and the Basanaike Nilame's residence, marking the conclusion of this year's Esala Perahera. And now the sports update. UEFA is holding an emergency virtual meeting with its 55 member associations to discuss a possible boycott of the FIFA World Cup over FIFA President Gianni Infantino's proposal to create a $20 billion commercial company backed by private investors. The proposed entity, known as FIFA Forward Enterprise, would manage the commercial and operational rights of major FIFA tournaments, while FIFA says it would retain control over sporting matters. UEFA has criticized the plan, saying football is not FIFA's to sell, and raising concerns over transparency and a September 19 deadline reportedly given to member associations to accept an initial payout. FIFA is working with JP Morgan on the project, with potential investors including Thrive Eternal, founded by Joshua Kushner. The proposal still requires approval from FIFA's member associations and the FIFA Council, while UEFA's meeting is expected to determine its next course of action. Indian batsman Ajinkya Rahane has announced his retirement from international cricket on Thursday, bringing the curtain down on a career highlighted by his leadership during a remarkable 2021 Test Series victory in Australia. The middle-order batsman played 85 Test, 90 one-day internationals and 20 T20 matches, but fell out of favour with selectors after a drop in form and last played for India in 2023. Rahane scored 5,077 runs in Tests, including 12 centuries, and built a reputation as one of India's most reliable batsmen in overseas conditions. More than half of his Test appearances came away from home, where he often thrived against pace and bounce on challenging pitches. The defining chapter of his career came on the 4 Test tour of Australia 2020-21, where as a stand-in he captained a depleted India to a remarkable 2-1 series triumph. And before we wrap up, here are the headlines of this evening. Youth die in a gunshot in Siraha as authorities impose indefinite curfew. Prime Minister Balendra Shah to address the nation. President Paudel urges peace and unity after Sunsari incident, calls for social harmony, dialogue and legal action to restore calm. Nepal's Security Council reviews Sunsari situation, calls for stronger coordination to prevent future incidents. US launches major airstrikes on Iran. Hostilities escalate into fifth month. 11 Pakistani police killed in checkpoint ambush. Drone-led attack raises border security fears. And UEFA weighs World Cup boycott over FIFA plan. Infantino's $20 billion proposal sparks a backlash. And that's it for this edition of Primetime News. Our next bulletin will be at 2200 hours Nepal time. To join us to our social media and get the latest updates from our official website, nepaltelevision.com. Thank you for staying with us. Have a wonderful evening ahead.
In the high mountains, where the air thins and silence deepens, an ancient discipline endures. More than art, this is meditation in motion. A prayer woven into canvas, finding the divine within. This is Thanka.
थाङ्का भने चाहिँ त्यो समतल भूमि भने हो के हैन त्यो स्पेस भने हो त्यो रेसियोमा पनि तपाईले सेतो गणमा स्पेस देख्यो हैन हो त्यसमा चाहिँ का लेख्ने भने चाहिँ बुद्धको वचन लेख्ने भने हो के त्यो बुद्धको वचन बागल चाहिँ त्यो चाहिँ शुद्ध छ हैन राम्रो छ त्यसले चाहिँ मानव जीवनलाई चाहिँ कल्याण मानव जीवनलाई मात्र नभएर प्राणी जगतलाई नै चाहिँ कल्याण गर्ने चिज हो थाङ्का त्यही भएर चाहिँ जीवन जिउनेसँग चाहिँ रिलेटेड छ भनेर भने हो त्यो चाहिँ पञ्चतत्त्वको रूपमा चाहिँ त्यो चिनाएर त्यो तत्त्वलाई त्यो ठाउँमा जानुपर्छ भनेरको यो त आशयको रूपमा चाहिँ लगेको हुन्छ
Thanka painting is more than art. It's devotion on canvas, rooted in Buddha philosophy, traditions, and shaped by centuries of Buddhist influence. Each stroke tells a story of enlightenment.
This is not from painter's own mind. This is from the book. So painters, they have to strictly follow the rules. Through meditation, we can understand our true nature. And when we understand our true nature, we understand everybody. And our true nature is compassion. Our true nature is wisdom. And when we practice these things, we find peace, and that peace is permanent.
Thangka painting is not merely creation, it is consecration, rooted in Buddhist philosophy and perfected through centuries. Each brushstroke carries the weight of a mantra, each color a fragment of enlightenment.
खाइबो भन्छ हामीले चाहिँ आर्टिस्टलाई त्यो खाइबाले चाहिँ किन आएर चाहिँ ढोग्यो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ तीनचोटि ढोग्यो नि त्यो शरण गमन गरे हो कि म बुद्धको शरणमा छु भन्ने हो त्यो चाहिँ बुद्ध चित्त उत्पात गर्ने भन्छ कि चित्त तपाईको शुद्ध हुनु पर्यो हैन त्यो शुद्ध भएर लेखेको थाङ्गाले चाहिँ अरूलाई पनि राम्रो गर्ने पनि पै प्राणी हितको लागि चाहिँ यो मैले गरेको लेखेको बुद्ध वचनले चाहिँ उहाँहरूलाई चाहिँ राम्रो होस् भन्ने आशाका साथ चाहिँ छोड्नुपर्छ कि हो यसरी चाहिँ लेखेको हुन्छ थाङ्गा चाहिँ
The Thangka is a visual sculpture, a spiritual map to transcendence. Every artist begins not with imagination, but with surrender to discipline, devotion, and compassion for all living beings. To paint is to meditate. To complete is to awaken. In today's studios, the old and the new converge. Tutors like Sushan Subedi introduce curious travelers to ancient grammar of lines and color.
All of the painting you are seeing over here, so these are known as Thangka, which is a Tibetan word which means the painting that is painted on a cotton surface. Okay, so first of all what we do is, we just take a normal cotton like this and we stretch it on a wooden frame very hardly and very tightly. Okay, so while tying it very hard on normal cotton, what happens is there are millions of tiny holes. So if you pour the color can bleed. So we cannot do the painting on a normal cotton. So we have a process, we call it the process of canvas.
While at nearby workshops, artists like Sonam still lose themselves in the ritual of creation.
यो चाहिँ बम्बई ड्याङ कटन जुन यसैबाट चाहिँ हाम्रो ट्रेडिसनल आर्टको चाहिँ थाङ्का फर्स्ट प्रोसेसिङ चाहिँ यहीँबाट हुन्छ सरेस भन्ने गरिन्छ हामीले यो चाहिँ खासमा र याक स्किन भनेर चाहिँ प्रयोग गरिन्छ पहिलेको त्यो हिस्ट्री हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ अनि अब यो चाहिँ हाम्रो चाहिँ माध्यम चाहिँ यो ग्लुको काम गर्छ यसले चाहिँ यो र हामीले चाहिँ माटो मिसाएर चाहिँ यसमा पानी लगाएर अब यसको कति मात्रा उ गरेर तताइसकेपछि चाहिँ अनि अब हामीले कत्रो क्यानभस बनाउने कतिवटा बनाउने त्यो हिसाबले हामीले यो सरेस माटो भनिन्छ त्यो मिलाएर मात्रा मिलाएर हामीले प्रोसेसिङमा जानु सकिन्छ हामीले चाहिँ यो क्यानभस बनाउँदाखेरि समय अनुसार मौसम अनुसारले पनि बनाउनु पर्ने हुन्छ घाम लाग्ने बेलामा बनाउन सक्यो भने हामीले छिटो आफ्नो कामहरु छिटो छरिदो बनाउन सकिन्छ र झरी पर्ने बेलामा चाहिँ हामीलाई निकै समय लाग्छ त्यसले गर्दाखेरि यो घाम लाग्ने बेलामा हामीले बनाउन सक्यौं भने छिटो अनि यसलाई आफुलाई चाहिने मात्रामा पटक पटक यता दुई साइडमा चाहिँ क्लीन गर्नु सफा गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ अनि कतिको मात्रा हामीलाई चाहिन्छ त्यो पुगिसकेपछि हामीले त्यसपछि स्केचमा जानुपर्ने हुन्छ यो सुकिसकेपछि चाहिँ एउटा यसरी पनि हामीले चेक गर्न सकिन्छ हामीले कतिको तयारी भयो भएन यो आवाज आउनु पर्ने हुन्छ जस्तै अब ओसिएको छ भने बेग्लै आवाज आउँछ, सुकेको छ भने राम्रो आवाज आउँछ यो।
Thangka painting begins with the canvas stretched tight, once upon wood, now upon iron frames. The glue that seals it, once drawn from the yak, now sourced from the maple or synthesized in a lab. Yet in the scent of drying paste, the artist still reads the readiness of the soul of the painting.
So after the sketching is done, second thing we do is the coloring. So while coloring, we have different levels of artists in our school. Like from the beginner level, we have intermediate and the master level of artists. So if you go with the beginner intermediate, they use the acrylic colors. But if you go with the master level of artists, so they use the stone colors like this. Okay, so why they use the stone color is stone being a natural color. So while we apply this sort of color in the art, it remains for the longer period of time, because natural thing, it doesn't have expiry date. Yeah, so the meaning and the philosophy of an art, the art itself, it is preserved for the longer period of time. So that's why they use the stone. And for the finishing of an art, so we use 24 karat real gold on the painting. Okay, so why we use the gold is not to make the painting very expensive, but if you see in Hinduism, in Buddhism, gold, it is signified as in purity. So to purify the meaning and the philosophy behind the art, so we use 24 karat real gold.
Every line follows a rule, every proportion holds meaning. The face of the deity isn't imagined, it slowly reveals itself, guided by sacred patterns that keep harmony between the world outside and the spirit within. The colors come from the earth, crushed stones and minerals mixed with glue, made to last for generations. Lapis brings purity, malachite speaks of compassion, and cinnabar carries wisdom. These are just colors, they are prayers in pigment.
प्राचीन कालमा चाहिँ यो थाङ्गा चाहिँ पाँचवटा कलर लेख्ने हो। पाँच कलर जस्तो अग्नि तत्त्व, वायु तत्त्व, माटो तत्त्व, हावा तत्त्व, पाँच तत्त्वले बनाएको हो। त्यो पाँच तत्त्वले किन बनाएको भने त्यो पाँच तत्त्वबाट हाम्रो शरीर बनाएको छ नि। यो थाङ्गा भनेको चाहिँ वास्तवमा के हो भने जे जति थाङ्गामा छ त्यो हामीसँगै छ, जे हामीसँग त्यो थाङ्गामै छ। त्यसकारण त्यो बेला चाहिँ त्यो नेचुरल, हामी पनि नेचुरली बनाएको हो नि त, प्रकृतिले बनाएको नि। थाङ्गा पनि प्रकृति नै हो। त्यसमा अलिक अहिले चाहिँ कलर के छ भने पाँचवटा कलर पनि हामीले मिसाउँदाखेरि अर्को कलर बन्छ। त्यो पाँचवटा कलर मात्रै पुग्दैन। त्यो बेला त्यो रियालिटी थाङ्गाबाट नजिक बसेर साधना गर्दा हामीलाई त्यो भाइब्रेसन आउँछ, पोजिटिभ कुरा आउँछ। यो त खालि बुद्धले टिकाको टिचिङ गर्नुभएको नेचुरल फेनोमेना छ नि, नेचर माइन्ड छ नि, त्योसँग रिलेटेड छ यो।
Then comes the awakening, the eyes. Until that moment, the thangka is silent. When the artist paints the peoples, the deity is invited to reside within. The canvas breathes, the prayer begins. From quiet Himalayan ateliers to the galleries in Tokyo, Berlin, and New York, thangkas now travel far beyond the monasteries. They adorn homes, museums, and collectors' walls, a global symbol of Nepal's artistic devotion.
And mostly, Thangka word itself is a Tibetan word, so this tradition belongs to Tibetan people. This tradition belongs to Tamang. This tradition belongs to Newar community. Although they have different expression of color, technique, the detail, but this tradition, this culture belongs to this three community, and this is kind of passed on tradition. They learn this skill from their forefather to the new generation. This is how this tradition has been continuing and preserving. So it is beneficial for them to live their life, and it is beneficial for the country because this is a culture, and culture and tradition is the treasure of each country.
The trade sustains thousands. From the hum of borders alleys to export crates bound for distant lands, Thangka has become a vital thread in Nepal's creative economy. Yet, as markets grow, so does the tension between faith and fame, between meditation and merchandise.
कला चाहिँ दुवै राम्रै हो हैन आफ्नो आफ्नै फिलोसफी भन्ने हो यसले चाहिँ तपाईको मनभित्रको डेप्थमा जाने सिकाउने हो यसमा चाहिँ यो चाहिँ मिहिन काम हुन्छ कठिन पनि हुन्छ के किनभने यसमा चाहिँ तपाईले चाहिँ अघिको जस्तो धेरै चीजहरु चाहिँ लिनुपर्छ अनुशासन लिनु पर्यो हैन यसको विधि विधानमा बसेर गर्नुपर्छ यसमा चाहिँ अब त्यो चाहिँ तपाईको मनमा जुन फिलिङ्स आउँछ त्यो लेखिहाल्ने हो के त्यो गर्दाखेरि त्यसले पनि वर्ल्डमा चलिरहेछ यसले चाहिँ नेपालले किन अब त्यसलाई चाहिँ कम्पिटिसन गर्न सक्छ भने चाहिँ यो चीज चाहिँ अरूले गर्न सक्दैन किनभने त्यसमा मेडिटेसन ध्यान जस्तै गर्नुपर्छ के सरकारी स्कुलबाट चाहिँ स्कुलिङ देखि नै गर्नुपर्छ यसको पाठ्यक्रमहरु बनाउनु पर्छ हैन एउटा त्यो गरिसकेपछि यसको प्रमोट हुन्छ हैन हामीलाई चाहिने त त्यो प्रवर्धन हो नि तर ब्याङ्किङहरुले पनि के गर्नु पर्यो भने यसलाई चाहिँ बिना दिदोमा पनि के रे ऋण दिने वातावरण हैन कलाकारको के छुटाएर के अनि तपाईको हामीले ट्याक्स तिर्नु पर्छ ट्याक्स तिर्दाखेरि पनि कुनै एउटा चीज चाहिँ कलाकारलाई कुन ओदामा राखेर त्यसको एउटा ब्यालेन्स एउटा गरेर सरकारले गरिदियो भने यसको झन् अझ फ्रस्टिन्छ के फ्रस्टेपछि त यो नेपालकै लागि चाहिँ यसले चाहिँ पर्यटनलाई पनि विकास हुने अनि त्यो स्कुल कलेजमा भयो भने पुस्ता हस्तान्तरण चाहिँ एकदम दिगो हुन्छ के
All the Thangka has same meaning of peace. So foreigner, they admire philosophy. Practitioner also, they choose deities mostly to practice, to visualize, and they imagine the quality of deities with themselves. And some least person, they want it as a souvenir to decorate for the positive vibe. Some they buy it for the gift for their loved one. Philosophy reminds us about the beautiful quality, and that quality gives us peace, and that peace is everyone searching for. So Thangka painting is very, very important for everyone because it is relevant with our life. If it is relevant with our life, that is truth.
But beyond commerce and canvas, a Thangka is still a mirror, reflecting a way of life where art and spirit breathe as one. Every brush that moves today carries the echo of generations, an unbroken whisper from monastery walls to the modern world. As the sun sets over the Himalayas, somewhere an artist bows before a finished Thangka. His work is now complete, his prayer released. For in every stroke lies a journey from pigment to prayer, from devotion to eternity. This is not just Nepal's art, it is Nepal's soul, painted into time.
The first space is your home. The second space is your work or school.
Oh, very good.
And the third space? It is a place for your social life to actually unfold.
क्यापिटल सिटीहरू चाहिँ मान्छेहरू चाहिँ आफ्नो लाइफमा आफ्नो डे टु डे लाइफमा यति धेरै बिजी भइसकेका हुन्छ कि उनीहरू एकदमै आइसोलेटेड भइसकेका हुन्छन् के सो यसबाट चाहिँ लाइक टु गेट ओभर इट अनि एक्सप्लोर गरेर आफूले आफूलाई फ्रेस गराउनको लागि हैन त्यसको लागि चाहिँ इट्स रियली एसेन्शियल.
In many parts of the Western world, third spaces look like cafes, libraries, pubs, and so on. We have those too in Nepal, but historically we have always done it a little differently.
म चाहिँ यो नजिकै बस्ने भएको भएर म यो ठाउँमा अक्सर आइरहन्छु हैन मलाई यो पब्लिक प्लेसहरू सार्वजनिक ठाउँहरू एकदमै मन पर्छ मलाई चाहिँ अनि अब काठमाडौँ आफै पनि साँगुरो छ हैन हामीसँग थोरै मात्रै पब्लिक स्पेसहरू छ त्यसमध्ये बसन्तपुरको यो सार्वजनिक स्थल चाहिँ एकदमै मलाई लाग्छ काठमाडौँ भित्रको क्राउडमा पनि अलिकति रमाइलो गर्नलाई आफ्नो फ्यामिलीसँग टाइम स्पेन्ड गर्नलाई अनि अलिकति फ्रेस भएर बसौँ अलिकति हावा खाएर बसौँ भन्ने हो भने यो ठाउँ चाहिँ हाम्रो वर्ल्ड हेरिटेजमा भएको साइटहरू हेर्दै हामी मजाले रमाउन सक्छौँ गफ गर्न सक्छौँ.
The term third space comes from sociologist Ray Oldenburg's 1989 book The Great Good Place. He described it as public space outside of your home or work where you can exist socially and build connections. But in Nepal, the idea of a third space has existed for centuries.
नेपालको सन्दर्भमा हेर्यो भने पनि हामी 16औं शताब्दीमा मल्ल राजाहरूले चाहिँ यसलाई क्रिएट गरेको पाउँछौँ. तर त्यो भन्दा अगाडि पनि लिच्छवीकालीन हेर्यो भने पनि यो स्पेसहरू चाहिँ क्रिएसन गरेको देखिन्छ किनभने काठमाडौँ दरबार स्क्वायरमा हेर्यो भने एउटा चाहिँ के छ भने स्पिरिचुअली पनि लिएको छ. त्यहाँ शिव पार्वती मन्दिरहरू छ भने हनुमान ढोका छ त्यस्तै गरेर नसाल चोक छ दरबारको लागि त्यस्तै गरिकन कुमारीको पनि त्यही छ. यो जम्मैले हामी के देख्छौँ भने यो थर्ड स्पेस चाहिँ हामी अहिले मात्रै होइन कि परम्परागतदेखि नै पाइन्छ. बिहान पख चाहिँ किसानहरूले ताजा तरकारी ल्याउने पनि भेट्थ्यो अनि अहिले पनि कुरा छ फ्रेस सब्जीहरू खान्छ भने बिहान यो थर्ड स्पेसमा जाने भन्छ. अहिले पनि हामी हेऱ्यो भने यो दरबार स्क्वायरको वरिपरि तरकारी के अरे बेच्न बिहान बिहान किसानहरूले ल्याएको हामी पाउँछौँ. यो चाहिँ त्यही भएर यो परम्परागत देखिन्छ. अर्को चाहिँ के छ भने यो इन्टरेक्सन गर्ने ओल्ड एज अथवा रिटायर मान्छे यस्ता मान्छेहरूले पनि त्यो थर्ड स्पेस युज गरेको पाउँछौँ.
From temple courtyards to neighborhood chokes to palace squares, our third spaces are woven into the fabric of our history and culture itself. They live on the temple steps. They are sheltered under the shade of the traditional falcha and poured into teacups at hole-in-the-wall tea stalls.
कोही कोही साथीहरु मिलेर आउँछ कोही कोही अब विदेशीहरु पनि आज चिया खान आउँछ यहाँ अनि अब कोही अब यसो अब कामसाम सकाएर आरामले चिया खाने हिसाबले आउनेहरु पनि मान्छेहरु आउँछ है अब बेलुकासम्म काम पसल बस्छ बन्द गरेर चिया खान आउनेहरु पनि आउँछ तपाईको यहाँ.
Beyond these grand palace courtyards, the surrounding traditional neighborhood also have their own junctions, built as a part of the people's local daily lives.
पूर्व दरबार भनेको चाहिँ यो कन्ट्री वाइड भयो त्यतिखेर र नेबरहुड वाइड भन्छ कि नेबरहुडमा पनि हामी चोक चोक भेटाउँछौँ. त्यो अनि त्यसलाई पनि के गरेको छ त भन्दाखेरि हायरार्की गरेको छ तहगत छुट्याइदिएको छ हैन व्यक्तिगतलाई स्पेस पनि दिएको छ. जस्तो हामीले चाहिँ चारवटा दाजुभाइहरूको घर बनाएको छ नि एउटा कोर्टयार्ड बनाइदिने अनि त्यहाँ एउटा मन्दिर बनाउने गणेशको अथवा बुद्धको के छ त्यो एउटा ल्यान्डमार्क बनाउने र आफ्नो बिहानको घाम ताप्ने ठाउँ मात्रै होइन कि अब बसेर कुरा गर्ने अनि कार्यक्रमहरू गर्ने कुनै कार्यक्रम त्यस्तो अनि अलिक त्योभन्दा वाइडर गऱ्यो भने अलिकता ठुलो कम्युनिटीमा जाने एउटा प्राइभेटबाट चाहिँ कम्युनिटीमा आयो अनि यो चाहिँ बस्नपुर जस्तो चाहिँ अब कन्ट्री वाइज एउटा नेसनल लेभलको चाहिँ स्पेस हो त्यो अलिक ठुलो छ.
The third space does not have to be something high-tech or carefully curated. It just needs to be accessible enough for people to visit, relax, and connect. Third spaces are where people come together, talk, and feel like a part of something bigger, communal. In the hustle and bustle of a city like Kathmandu, they offer what many of us crave: a connection, a pause, a sense of belonging.
नमो हिरण्यबाहवे हिरण्यवर्णाय हिरण्यरूपाय हिरण्यपतये अम्बिकापतये उमापतये पशुपतये नमो नमः।
Nepal is lucky. It's got Dharmendra and Amitabh Bachchan, just in one. You're two in one. Two superstars in one superstar.
But nonetheless, thank you. Thank you so much. But then tell us more about Sholay.
Once again, Nepali cinema making history on the 9th edition of NIF, Nepal International Film Festival, here on NTV Board with the collaboration NTV World. We just don't have two personalities on a talk show. We have two legends. One is Mr. Rajesh Hamal, the superstar of Nepali cinema film industry, and the other one, who is the blockbuster director, none other than Mr. Rajesh Hamal and Mr. Ramesh Sippi. We are having them here on this Creative Forum talk, only on NTV World.
Mr. Ramesh Sippi ji, good afternoon.
Namaskar.
Namaskar, and welcome. Welcome to Kathmandu.
Thank you.
Is this your first time?
No, this is my third trip.
A third trip. Yeah, it's an absolutely pleasure. Welcome to Nepal once again, you know. Unfortunately, we're meeting at a very tumultuous time. You know, the world is going through. You know, they're hell-bent on destruction and domination. You know, I think the onus lies on the creative people. You know, to spread their good words about collaboration, humanity, human emotions, human value, just to offset the balance.
Absolutely agreed.
Right, and I think we should speak up and then spread our narration through our arts, through our...
Yeah, because you have a voice, you have people listening.
Right.
And you have that command. So whatever you say, it will carry some weight.
Whatever you say will also carry a lot of weight. I haven't met you before, but I, of course, know of you. You have a very illustrious career, illustrious film life that you have spent, and not only you, your father as well. Could you tell us a little bit about you? I mean, most of us know of you pretty well, but nevertheless, can you tell us, like, where you were born, how did it start, and how did your family got into films?
I was born in 1944 in Karachi. And
so before the partition?
Yes. And about 1947, we moved here immediately after the partition. I mean, I was only 3 years old, so my memory is not very sharp on that. But yes, we started out here. My father went into the construction business, buildings.
In Mumbai?
In Mumbai. And it was a very strange time because when he advertised a building and a flat, at that time, you were either a landlord or a tenant. So there was no purchase as such. Purchase in a small way. A big bungalow or a big thing belongs to one person? Yes. Otherwise. Because the people would come there and they would say, this wall, this side is mine, and that side, somebody else. Okay. So, it was a very strange way, but it started selling. Then 1951, he made a film called Saza. My father.
Your father did. His good name was G.P. Shippy.
That's right.
Right. He's a very prominent filmmaker as well. Yes.
Yeah. Devanand, Nimmi, and Shyama. So with these three, he made a film. Because of his construction thing, he kept meeting people from the film line who wanted to buy. Raj Kapoor would come.
How did he decide to get into making films from construction? Because those are completely poles apart.
Because he was selling.
He was making money.
People were making people were coming there to take the. So then that's how he got.
Oh, he started off as an investor.
Yes, as investors they came in, and that's how he got into it. Well, after that, I was lucky that he was already in, and I worked for about 8 years from 61 to 69. I was just working on the sets in every department possible. And then in 69, I launched my own film, Andaz.
You didn't do anything else in life before that?
No. I went to London in 61 to do something, to maybe commerce, the college there, but I couldn't get into it. My heart and mind was there, so I rang up my father and I said, can I come back? He did not take even 1 second. He said, sure, if you're not happy, come back. That was...
And the first film that you made, was it because you had the passion for filmmaking, or it was like a family business kind of thing?
Not at all. It was absolutely my passion. Because everybody said, why are you making a film like this? A widow and a widower? You shouldn't make this kind of film here. It may be a nice film, but people won't like it. So...
Andaz, I remember, was very well received, especially that song on a motorcycle.
That's right. Zindagi Ek Safar.
Yeah, that motorcycle. I mean, I couldn't sing to save my life.
Yeah, two iconic ones, because that was the theme of the film. Hai na bolo bolo, papa ko mummy se, mummy ko papa se pyar hai. They were both without a partner, and that's how they come together.
So how did that come about? I mean, it was the storyline was a little bit anomaly for its time, and did you come up with this idea yourself? Are you also the writer of your own films, or?
Well, you see films, you're inspired, but there's no direct connection. But just felt that we've seen plenty of films in the normal. Why not try something which is a little different? And that was the reason I said, yes, let's do that. Luckily, it worked. But I'll tell you, in the smaller towns, it was still not accepted.
Oh, because of the storyline.
That storyline. And that told me, listen a bit. So you've got to listen to what people say also. But you've got to take a step forward.
But yeah, so those days, the filmmaker had to be extremely conscious about the social values and things like that, and what they would accept, what they would not accept.
True.
Including how you dress especially the leading actresses and all that.
Yes.
So that was your first film, Andaz?
That's
right. And that was made in
69. It was released in 1971.
Okay, and then the ball started rolling after
went
that?
on to make Sita or Gita. Again,
that was a kind of a maverick work as well. No?
Yes.
Sita or Gita, double role.
Yes.
Were you fascinated with Hema Malini from day one, or?
Well, she was.
Or did you have a good rapport with her?
Yes,
or?
yes, she was very, very lovely. Very, but she was when we were dubbing for Andaz post production, and I said, "Would you like to play this double role on the mic?" I was telling her. She was inside, and
on the set of Andaz.
She was dubbing for the end of the film.
So you're offering her another project?
Yes, on the mic. She said, "What? You think I can do it?" I said, "Yes, if you put your heart into it, we can do it." And that's how Sita or Gita came about. Yes, I was very fortunate to have Salim Javed with me. Absolutely brilliant writers. And we moved on. And again, Sholay was a two-line idea. It's all, at that time, it was an army officer and two cadets, and they were mischievous guys, and so he calls them later in life to help for him, for his personal revenge. We just converted into the police, that's all.
And you did all this at a relatively young age, didn't you? Like you were like in your mid-20s, or?
I was 25 and I started Andaz. Then in Sita or Gita, I was 27, 28. Then 29, I started Sholay.
Sholay, you started at 29.
29 and finished in 31. The film was released.
Now that you've mentioned Sholay, you and Sholay are so synonymous, you know, like everybody, when they think about Sholay, they think about you. When they think about you, they think about Sholay. How did that, such a, for its time, it was larger than life. Those days, mostly cinema used to be made in CinemaScope and 35mm, and you went into 70mm. And the storyline was slightly, you know, different as well from your normal Hindi film storyline. And what I can tell by looking at Sholay is maybe there's an element of a Western movie influence in there.
You're absolutely right.
But you gave such an Indian flavor to it that the Indian audience totally lapped it up.
I was always fascinated by the way the Western films were made, and those
you used to watch a lot of Clint Eastwood films?
Yes, first the Clint Eastwood films, then the films like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. And all these Westerns gave a wonderful kind of feel at that time. And so it was not easy to adapt to Indian, the Western, but because we had our dacoits and they operated in the Chambal Valley.
They could be the baddies, yeah.
And I guess circumstances took them to that point.
But the way you presented the film and the storyline was so amazing and so different from the kind of films that were being made in that era. You know, like the most prominent thing that I would say of Sholay was that you brought every character to life. When people think of Sholay, they definitely think of you as well, but they think of not just the protagonist, they think of all the characters, from Kalia to Mosti to even the horse, the Basanti. They remember everything. So you brought so much of life to each and every character, whether they were doing the leading role or the side role, but everybody had a prominence present in that film. How did you manage that?
From the idea we began with, it turned out to be a very good script. And with that script, while scripting, had a lot of these actors in mind. And very fortunately, all of them agreed to come in. It's very difficult for such a big, so many different actors to come in, big actors. Otherwise, they'll worry what will happen.
Was Amitabh Bachchan ji relatively new during that time, or was he?
He had just started to come up. His film Zanjeer was released after he signed with us for Sholay.
So you got him cheap.
I made up for it in the next film. He said, okay, you got me cheap there, now what are you going to give me here? Okay, so much. Nepal is lucky. It's got Dharmendra and Amitabh Bachchan both in one. You're two in one. Two superstars in one superstar.
But nonetheless, thank you. Thank you so much. But then tell us more about Sholay. How did you do the characterization? How did you come up with the story line?
As I said, I was very lucky to have Salim Javed, who came to me towards the end of the making of Andaz. Halfway through, they joined me, and then Sita or Gita did it. They wrote Sita or Gita, and then as far as Sholay was concerned, we worked on the script. They had an idea, one-line idea.
Oh, they had it themselves?
Yes, okay. And it was with somebody else who didn't want to make it. Manmohan Desai, I think. He said, this is not my kind of film. So he passed it, passed by, gave a pass to it, so you could take it. And they narrated these two lines, an army officer with two cadets, and he calls them for his. So I think I was lucky that I had these two wonderful writers with me, and we were able to bring together a script which had all these elements in it, and all of us are always inspired by good cinema.
When they were writing, did you tell them that you wanted a Western kind of style to it?
Yes, absolutely.
You told them that?
Yes, yes.
Did you give them any references? Or?
Yes, all these that I told you about, Butch Cassidy, like these two are like the Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, and one of them dies at the end, if you remember Butch Cassidy also.
That was Paul Newman and Robert.
That's right, that's right. So that's how it developed, and it developed well, and all the pieces started falling together, the actors coming in. And then, as I said, I was very keen that I go to a different location. My art director took me down south, and near Bangalore, about 50 kilometers away from Bangalore, was this, all these rocks. The moment I saw them, I said, this is it. The den would be here, and the village would be just close by somewhere, and this is where it could all take place. And then we built a village there.
So how long did the homework take place?
The idea and the thought coming, and we got everyone together, and by the coincidentally, the film started on the 2nd of October, 73, October 2nd.
And then you had such prominent actors in that film. How difficult was it to coordinate them? I mean, how does it work in Indian cinema when you have so many prominent actors and actresses in your set? How does the coordination work? Is it a difficult task?
I think because there were well-defined roles, so there was no real fear that everyone knew, because if you remember the climax of Sholay, one thing leads to the other, and each actor gets to play his part in such a way that if Dharamji, when he moves away for a short while, and Amitabh takes the bullets. So he dies, and then he vows vengeance, and he drives, and he does the climax of killing all of them right down to when Sanjeev Kumar comes and says, no, this is mine. Gabbar is mine. You leave Gabbar to me because that was why I called you for this. So it all fell in such a way that everyone had his piece and everyone was satisfied with what he was doing.
It all felt justified. I mean, no doubt as a maker, you were a maverick when you were making Sholay, but over the years, how does it feel? I mean, if I may ask you this, that people usually remember the performance and the performers more than the maker and the director. Do you see a quiet injustice in there? Like, when you talk about Sholay, they remember Gabbar Singh, maybe Viru, and what's the other guy's name? Jay and Viru and Hema Malini and this.
Surma Bhopali and...
And over the line, somehow the maker gets sort of like, it's shattered. Do you see a kind of a quiet injustice in there as a maker?
Well, yes and no, because yes, the credit, but it's very natural as far as an audience is concerned to identify with the actor, because that's who the story is being told through. So they become real life and they become the real characters. So for them, that is the first thing that hits them. The people behind the scene, yes, okay, but there have been chaos of Mughal-e-Azam in one film, and he's remembered as a... And of course, Mehboob Khan, which is Mother India, and so there are a few.
You have left, no doubt, an indelible mark in the cinema. You will always be remembered. But I was just taking this out because most of the time when you have big stars and the movie is successful, they remember it as the star's film rather than the maker's film.
True.
Whereas initially, the project is the maker's baby, actually. That's where it starts.
I want to make a wonderful film, and if you stand out as an actor, but it's the same thing. We want it to work. We want the people to like it. So I think.
But Sholay, I believe, was not, initially it was sort of like received very lukewarm, like it didn't have a great response.
Again, unfortunately, I have to defer. There was no such thing.
Oh, there wasn't?
No. Headlined disaster. Every week. Disaster 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For 5 weeks they hammered that this kind of a film, no way. And because they'd already given it once, taking it back was not easy. But finally in the 6th week, they admitted that yes, it's a big hit. And there is no such thing that, because in the 2nd and 3rd week, people were repeating the dialogues. So in the theater, we knew this is a repeat audience. A repeat audience doesn't come if they haven't liked it the first time. They're not going to come a second time. So that's...
But do you remember around that time, the same time, there was another film that was released with very little budget but did extremely well. I think it was Jai Santosima, or...
Yes, on the very same day.
Yeah. So what was your reaction to that film? I mean, here you are with a multi-star, with a great budget, larger-than-life presentation film. And there's another film which is low budget and just comes out and it...
As a matter of fact...
And comes out with a bang.
When the trade papers spoke like this about Sholay, they also mentioned that, look at this film, Jai Santoshima. At this budget, it's a blockbuster. And Sholay was demoted. But then, of course, they...
Yeah, but Sholay, of course, lasted much longer, and it's become a history, and it becomes a milestone of Hindi cinema. Rameshji, can you, you've experienced so many periods and so many phases in Indian cinema. You've come a long way. How do you see cinema of today, especially the Hindi cinema scenario of today? How do you look at them?
I think the best way to look at it is today's audiences and today's their educational levels and their exposure to the world is quite different. So we are seeing a change, but at the same time, we have to remember that we are competing with ourselves on television, on OTT, on all these are a part of the audiovisual entertainment, and yet a lot of people might say today, I would rather sit at home and watch it on where it comes on OTT.
So what do you think about the modern technology of filmmaking? I mean, do you take it as a progressive change, or?
Yes, any technology improvements that help and aid a filmmaker should be welcomed. Now, do they take away from you as a maker? I think they're meant to enhance your work. I think anything you think of and you want to do special effects, it's only going to help what your vision is. If it is taken in that light, and you do not make the mistake of letting it take over the storytelling or the thrust of the film and the emotions of the film, you don't allow these to be taking over that, then you're okay. You've got to create that balance.
Director used to be like almost 95% in charge of the project. How you're going to film it, how he's going to frame it, how he's going to present it. But now the directors have to work in coordination with so many different technical departments and engineers and special effect people that the share of the director is just limited to maybe just an imagination or the concept of how he wants to do it, and the other people put it together.
But I think, as I said, sensibility prevails, that you try to create that balance between technology and the real thing. And the actors today, if they find there is a good maker, I'm sure you as an actor would be happy to have a good director with you. He can only help and guide a little more. You're going to ultimately take, as you yourself said, he gets the maximum appreciation goes to the actor. So it's as a maker, you just have to make that compromise in your mind that it is a medium. You can do a lot with it, with all these new technology things. Take it in the positive way and use it to help you. Now, if you have a crowd of horses coming in, and you have 4 horses you use who are good, and you add to those horses, it'll like a herd of
104 horses.
That's it. So the advantage is there if you use it correctly. And if you unnecessarily use technology, you're going to...
If you had the advantage of using this technology while making Sholay, would Sholay would have been any different?
A damn good question, and I don't have an answer.
No, but it's done. It's printed. It's a history, and it's a hallmark. Like, you represent Hindi cinema, and most of the Hindi cinemas are like star-driven, and they're the main attractions, and the unique selling point of a film actually becomes the stars and all that. How important is it, in your view, that does an actor like transform himself or herself completely into a character, or does the actor bring his own essence to every role? Does the part of the actor has to be alive in every role, especially the star-driven, or they can succumb themselves totally into a character?
I think mostly they can. I think a very, very particular character which calls for a change of image, the actor is excited about playing something entirely different, and the director feels that this is an actor who can, because he's such a good actor, he'll be able to deliver in this kind of a role. Then they work together to change that image which was existent before that.
But
most of the time, it's the image.
I mean, you sort of played in abundance in terms of, relatively, in terms of whether budget or your writers or your technicians. When do you think the creativity actually flourishes? Is it in abundance or in limitation?
When Dharmendraji goes up on that tank, now, it's not exactly word by word what was written for him. Then there was improvisation as well. And it had to be because he's in that mood. So that was a combination of the character as well as the actor and the lines and his performance. And, I mean, it just all came together so beautifully that today it's a scene which is remembered. And that goes for Mr. Bachchan as well.
Does your creativity gets limited if you're working within a limited budget, within limited resources? Does that hamper your creativity as a filmmaker, as opposed to when you have?
Unfortunately, my experience is that I had a budget for Sholay, 1 crore, because my previous film, Sita or Gita, cost 50 lakhs. So we said, let's be a bit large-hearted, keep 1 crore for this.
But for 73, that was a lot of money. For 1973, that was a lot of money.
Yes, but it went on to cost 3 crores. Because it went on and on. Because I've said this before, but shooting the massacre scene of Sanjeev Kumar's family, the Thakur's family, I started to shoot, and after 2 days, the clouds came and the sun went away. So we sat for a day. In those days, the film was such that you could not do anything about it. You had to get some sunlight. You couldn't match it like you do in post-production, as you say. Correct? So otherwise you could have fiddled with it in post-production. But no. And on the 4th day, clouds again. So I asked the cameraman, because the mind started to work. And the texture of the scene changed. I said, if I do it like this, I'll be able to build that, the little wind, and it changed only in terms of what the, not that the dialogues were changed or anything like that. But the sense of it, the point is it cost me 21 days of shooting because of the weather. I had to wait for the cloudy weather. Then we started to make some thin covers on top to filter, if the sun is there, how to filter it on the sets. Things like that were improvised, and we were able to shoot it. And ultimately, there was no other way but to spend more time and money trying to get what you want.
Right, but did you feel that you were taking a risk in terms of money? Like,
I tried not to think about it.
Right.
And my father never said a word to me, what are you doing? So that's where I was very lucky. He just let me do what I was doing. He had the confidence that I was doing the right thing.
Suppose you've spent so much of money, so much of time, so much of energy into this dream project of yours, Sholay. And if it had failed miserably in the box office,
I wouldn't be here then.
So there is no such thing as like taking things with a pinch of salt and getting up and moving up again. Can that happen to a filmmaker? When a dream project fails,
yes, it can.
And he still retains the energy to continue,
yes,
to stand up and move?
It can happen, but it will affect his confidence also.
Do you know anyone that you know like that in Hindi cinema?
No, I'm sure must be people who have felt this. People start to abandon you financially, or in different ways. You find even actors then dropping out from projects. These things do happen. It's not.
How much of a burden is it when you lose a lot of money in a film? How much for the maker?
Well, if it's borrowed money, it's carrying interest all the time. There is a certain foolishness when you allow budgets to go that.
How do you look at the progression of cinema making over the years? Because you see, what has happened is with so many different sources of viewing cinema, people have cinema in their own hands. You know, with a click of a button, they can go anywhere. And what it used to be a cinema literacy in those days are available to anyone with a nice smartphone. A 10-year-old would have a cinema literacy of that of, let's say, 70s professional filmmaker, when they talk about long shot, mid shot, focus in, focus out, this and that. All these cinema jargons are used by lay persons today. So is it more challenging to be a filmmaker in this time and age than it used to be before?
I think that will always be there. The challenges were there then. As you said,
every second person in one way or the other is a filmmaker these days. Everybody is creating one thing or the other. Whereas in those days, filmmaking was exclusively the department of the professionals.
Correct.
And they only knew how to do it. If they were talking about editing, the rest of the audience didn't know. If they were talking about, I don't know, long shot, mid shot, focus out, focus, and these are the jargons that the normal people are using it these days. What's dubbing, what's this? So do you think it's more of a challenge, much more challenging to be a film director in this age and
today?
Era?
Yes, I think it is. But as I said, if you take technology along with you and let it help you in achieving what you want to achieve, you will be able to achieve it in lesser money today because of the special effect. Your knowledge of that technology will allow you to, okay, this I can do. So it can be helpful.
Like I remember, even in the 90s, if you have to picturize, say, the interior of a moving car, that itself was an extreme challenge.
It was.
And now you have so many different types of cameras available, you can do it in a flick of a finger.
Yes, I remember, because after that, when I made Shan, that started to happen. I used to sit on the bonnet of the car, facing the actor behind the wheel, and the co-artist with the actor in front, and you're going through, and the crowds. You have to avoid the crowds because you'll see them. So all these factors were there, and it was very difficult to shoot within the city. And all my work on Shan was in the city, on the docks, in the streets, on those car chases and everything. What would normally have taken 3-4 days to shoot took, again, 20 days, 25 days to get it right.
And the audience were pretty naive about the
the difficulties. They don't see the difficulties, they see the end product.
That's why the word, the cinematic liberty used to be very famous those days, because
absolutely
you can fool your audience.
Absolutely correct. You got it.
Which is probably not possible these days, yeah. Yeah, the difference today is that, people want to watch larger than life and extraordinary things on the screen, but at the same time, they demand that it should be believable, even if it is done extraordinarily, larger than life way. The audience still wants to know that it has to be presented in such a way that it's believable. That's
correct.
They don't see any mistakes in there, so it has to be flawless today. And the technology has probably helped that.
That has, yes, it definitely has. But each time, even then, when the back projection came in for the first time, that was a technological advance. It did help a lot.
Especially in a moving objects, yeah.
Yes. But there you could see technically that it was. If you're very sharp, you could tell it's done on a back projection screen because you didn't have enough maneuverability. Just the back window, the back glass, the back of the car, the rear glass would allow you to. So your blue screen was behind it, and that's how.
But the general audience had no idea how it has been done. You know, and that's probably what.
Now they all know, as you say.
Now they all know. They know everything about filmmaking. So this is what I feel nowadays. You know, if you're a filmmaker these days, you have to be a notch higher than the average person because everyone knows about filmmaking. Everybody knows how to make a moving picture. Everybody knows about editing. Everybody knows about how to put, good visuals together. So in order to be a good filmmaker, one has to be a few notches higher than the normal people.
Yes. You got it right. You hit it on the spot. It is so easy, and they know all about it. So when they see, oh, this must have been done like this, and this must have been done like that. And yet, when the audience comes into a theatre to watch the film, they are ready to watch. It's not, they haven't come there to criticize it. They really want to appreciate it, otherwise they wouldn't spend that 500, 1,000, 1,500 bucks for a ticket. In the days of Sholay, it was 2 rupees, 3 rupees, and 4 rupees.
Don't you think the movie viewing culture has changed drastically? Like those days when you were making Sholay, film used to be actually the cheapest form of entertainment.
Absolutely.
And now it's not so cheap form of entertainment at all. So how do you see that? I mean, once upon a time, cinema was, accessible to every lay person. A person who labors on the street throughout the day is looking forward to go and watch a film in an air-conditioned movie hall and just have a good time. Whereas today, maybe some of the movie theaters are off-limited to people of certain income groups.
That's true.
So how do you see this transformation?
Yes, but theaters are also doing things now to, you come on a particular day, the ticket is much lower. They have these incentives, or you go there, you'll get a Coke or a thing extra. There are ways of getting around that. So it makes it a little more easier for certain audiences who would not be able to afford it to come in and get a pleasure of the big screen.
Yeah, this is what I have distinctly noticed, and it's not just in India, even here in Nepal. Earlier, when we used to go to the movie hall, the representation was mostly of the average person of that society or that country. But now you go to one of these fancy movie halls in the city, and then you see it's a completely different class of people representing an audience. That is something distinctly I have noticed over the period of time.
What we do have is most of the screens are like that now. There are a few single cinemas still in existence, and that audience still goes there, and the rates are also lower there. But yes, it's a big problem.
And as far as the content of the Hindi cinema goes nowadays, or the storyline of Hindi cinema, do you think that has gone through changes over the period, like the kind of story you would want to make into a film in the 70s as opposed to now?
I don't think that at its core it's different. You see Dhurandhar today?
Just the presentation has changed a lot.
He's made a wonderful film, but he's used what we are talking about. He's used technology as well as the real thing, and he's made a wonderful combination. But it is all action and blood and gore, and it's been presented in a way that is palatable. And this is a bigger hit than just a family story or a. So this is how.
So that is immutable truth. That's an unchanging truth over the years. The content of the story.
Yes.
The technology might help it to bring it into a different scale and different presentation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I guess, cinema is all about human emotions and human expressions. And human emotions and expressions probably don't change.
And they're
people
forever.
feel the same way.
Yeah, you don't. If you love someone, you love someone. It's not
You're
like
angry at someone, you're angry at someone.
And you're angry, absolutely.
Whether you're a man at 70s or the man of today's age.
Something will take you to that intolerable level. It's bound to.
This is what I always felt, everything is changeable. Like over the years, place might change, cities might change, society might change, but the emotion remains intact, the way our great-grandfather felt when they were in love is the same kind of emotions that we feel today. The way they reacted when they were angry, we react in a more or less same way, So the human emotion is, I think, the only thing which is permanent in this ever-changing world,
Yes, I'm sure most of the people will agree. I have no problem with those who don't. I carry my convictions with myself, and as you would always do for yourself, and each one does for themselves. I think it's fair.
From all this larger-than-life project, how did you get into television all of a sudden? Especially in those days. I mean, Bunyad was in Doordarshan, right?
Yes.
Before the cable television and multi-channel.
Yes.
So how did that come about? I mean, how was that transformation made?
Actually, some of the DD officials at that time suggested to my father, because he had a good rapport with the government, and they said, we've launched this channel, but we need some good material on it. Can you think of something we can... And the writer who had written an earlier...
story revolved around partition, right?
Yes.
India,
what I'm saying is,
partition.
the writer of Bunyad was a writer who had done an earlier film, earlier series. As I got to know that writer, I felt a kind of a pulse that it's going to... This guy knows what he's talking about. So when it was set in partition, and he was able to come up with a script, which I liked. And I said, okay, let's go. It was a whole different kind of movie making. It was not movies, it was every episode, if you could leave it on a little...
And you must have shot in video cameras or things like that?
The first 26 episodes I shot on film, 16mm film. And then switched to the videos.
And that was, how many series was it? Like how long?
105 episodes.
105. So that's what, like over a year? Over
a year.
Over a year.
Twice a week. 52 weeks, 104 episodes.
Was that a profitable venture?
Yes.
It was, okay.
It did well. In the beginning we lost a lot of money, but started to pick up. And because we got into control of the shooting time, and then we were able to bring it out at a fairly commercial kind of income, cost to income, we were able to balance it well.
So that was the only television venture that you attempted?
No, I did one more. After that I made a film. Then after that film I did one again for the DD started the morning thing.
The morning segment.
Morning segment. That's where I made something called Kismat. So that was also, that did well. Then later on, went to do a film, a series called Gatha, which was also 100 episodes, just a little bit less than that. But that actually was on Star Plus. Now, Star Plus, the audience was not a DD audience. It was Star Plus had not made a dent in the...
So they were just coming in?
Yes.
Star Plus, okay. And that took the television industry much higher.
Then Star Plus, once the
you had your
Saas Bahu thing came in.
Yeah, and then you have
it went
ZTV
crazy.
and
Yes,
whatnot,
yes,
and
yes.
much later after that. Before we part, Rameshji, I mean, we talked a lot about Sholay, but I would also like to talk about your other very, very popular film like Shahan, Shakti, Trishul. These are all yours, right?
Not Trishul.
Not Trishul.
Shahan, Shakti, Sagar.
Sagar, yeah, right, exactly, Sagar. Tell us about that. Sagar is what? Rishi Kapoor and Kamal Hassan ji?
Kamal Hassan, Rishi Kapoor,
Dimple.
and Dimple, yeah.
That was a combination of that time as well, like getting Kamal Hassan from South, and then you have this lover boy image of Rishi Kapoor, and Dimple was she was taking a sabbatical, and you...
Yeah, she did only one film first.
You woke her up and brought her to the set. How did that come about?
Again, we decided, because I like to do each film different from my previous film. Shakti was a drama, father and son. So
yeah, you brought in Dilip Kumarji with Amitabh Bachchan, which was also another huge step.
And then I felt maybe a love story. Let's think of something which is different. Discussed it with Javed Sahab. Unfortunately, they had split at that time, Salim Javed. So Javed, then let's do a triangle, but it was just a thought. It was not a script. It took about a year for that to happen. And then a lot of it was made on the set, in the sense, improvisations and how it would be. Because Kamal Hassan, I found, was an actor so full of himself and he was so right in the way he did things, in the sense, sir, can I do it like this? Only if you feel that it's okay, then I can, and he would do it in a certain way. It was written in a certain way and he did it a little differently.
As opposed to Rishi Kapoorji, who was very spontaneous and...
Yeah, he's simple. And because his role was like that. But him, he's part of the village, he's jumping around, he's got... So all that energy was his. He brought that extra energy to the character. So that's how actors also do when they make it their own and bring something extra out of it. You got to, and you got to be prepared to accept that. As a director, you must. Otherwise, if I had said no, it would have been normal. But it may not have been the performance it was.
Before I let you go, how's life now? What are you doing now? And what do you...
I am thinking of a project, which hopefully, if it all works out in the next month or two, then by the end of the year I might shoot. It's not a big budget or a huge thing, but it's set in a place called Mathura in UP. It's set over there with characters from there. So I think if all works out, then I should be on that.
I wish you all the best, may you have a very long and healthy life and creative life. And
thank you so much.
And don't let your passion go.
That was two cinema legends in one frame, and this is Creative Forum. We'll be back with more shows and episodes. This is me, Suveksha Rajak. Let's leave for another creativity.
Shall we start now?
I'll try my best.
Okay. Your best performance, okay?
The most important innings for me would be the Nepal versus Hong Kong game. And I scored 41 runs because that match, it was one step into the World Cup. And for me, I remember going into that game, I thought I'll not hit the ball in the air at all, because if I stayed in the crease and scored runs, meant that Nepal had better chances of winning. And those 41 runs in that game would probably be the most valuable innings that I've ever played, where I got run out. But that every run, if I think of it now, would probably be the time when I took the most pressure during my whole 20 years of career. But those would be the most important runs of my career.
Best Nepali batsman of all time?
It's difficult. Why? Because I have seen a lot of great players, and you look at the current batch of cricketers, meant that everyone's been performing exceptionally well. If I really had to pick one name, just from a talent perspective, who did not play as much for Nepal but was extremely talented, was Sandeep Shrestha. He played few matches for Nepal, but just looking at him, he was so casual at how he played the sport.
I can't agree with you anymore. Best coach you have played under?
If I really had to pick one person, would be Pubdu, because that transformation of Nepal cricket from 11 to 16 while he was here, and we qualifying for the World Cup was an important moment.
Most difficult opponent you have played against?
Obviously, Afghanistan and Nepal always, gets compared. I remember playing Afghanistan's first match in 2005, and then they wanted to become a test playing nation in 2016.
Best bowler you have faced, or the most difficult bowler you have ever faced?
I think Basant Rigmi easily is the best bowler that I played. I keep saying Sandeep played the IPL, he's gone on to play all leagues all over the world, he's been phenomenal. But Basant Rigmi, if let's say had got the platform back in the day, from a fast bowler who turned into a left arm spinner, probably the best bowler that I have faced. And at one point he was probably the best left arm spinner, and somebody who nobody could hit.
Best upcoming talent?
I think Gulshan Jha, the potential that he has as an all-rounder, and he's left-handed. Obviously, there's a lot more things that he needs to add up into his game, but he has potential to really grow into something.
Best Nepali bowler? Seam?
Would be Binod Das. I think he was probably the best fast bowler that I played. I mean, Sompal and Karan have carried the nation's burden for the last 10 years, but Binod Das was probably the best fast bowler.
He was the leading fast bowler in the associate countries at his peak as well. 2014 T20 World Cup qualification or 2018 ODI status?
It has to be the World Cup, and I really can't pick between the two. Why? Because the ODI status is important for the overall setup of how a cricket nation functions at the associate world, but qualifying for the World Cup and playing the World Cup meant that cricket became important to this nation. So I would definitely pick the World Cup.
Best ever performance under your captaincy, Nepal's?
3 matches we played at the World Cup.
14 World Cup.
Because at the global stage, we never played under floodlights. We went into Dubai a week ago. And also when you are young, I think we were a young team. We had no fears. We were a strong unit, backed by good coaching. Whatever that we had, we were happy about it. And that moment where we were presented in front of the world, we did not crumble. Playing against Hong Kong, playing against Afghanistan, and competing against Bangladesh, meant that that is when we made our first significant impact. So those 3 matches would probably be the best performance. But if you go through the Division 5, 4, 3, 2 cycle, I mean, every tournament has its own story, and it has been an incredible journey.
Best batsman in world cricket you admire?
Has to be Brian Charles Lara. Got to see him in Nepal as well, so he was a genius.
He was a genius. Best all-rounder in world cricket?
Jack Callis, easily.
All right.
When you look at his batting stats, his bowling stats, there's no comparison to what he has achieved.
Exactly. Best bowler in world cricket all time?
Shane Warne. I'll probably say he's the greatest cricketer that played the sport.
True. You are a big Aussie fan as well?
I follow the Australian cricket team.
Best captain in world cricket all time?
If I really have to go back old school, it would have to be Stephen Fleming. Fleming was a great leader, left-handed batter, and is still coaching the Chennai Super. A great cricket mind, and even Ricky Ponting. If you think of the fact that he had to lead this team of gladiators and had to captain them, Steve Waugh led by examples day and day. But If I had to pick one person, if it's a name, Stephen Fleming. Although he didn't win championships, but had a lot of respect with everybody around and still does.
Paras, let's sit down now. Let's create Nepal's all-time 11, all formats.
It's going to be difficult.
It's going to be difficult. Let's try.
Sandeep Shrestha is opening. Then you'd probably pick maybe Kushal
Bhutel. Paris opening. Fantastic.
2. Then number 3 would be Gyanendra Malla.
Superb.
Number 4.
Let's try.
Number 4 would be Dipender Singh Airi.
Dipender Singh Airi, of course.
At number 4.
Okay.
Sarat Visagar at 5.
5.
Raju Kharka at 6.
6.
Then Shakti Gautam at 7.
7.
Basant Ragmi at 8.
8.
Sandeep Lammichhane at 9.
9.
Vinod Das.
Okay.
And it'll be difficult between Sompal and Karan.
All right.
Because both of them, so depending on the format, because both have been great match winners, which means that if it's ODI, I would pick Sompal.
Being diplomatic here.
If it's ODI, I mean if it's T20, I would pick Karan. So that's the playing 11. Sandeep
Shrestha, number 1.
Kushal Bhutel, Gyanendra Malla at 3. Dipender Singh Airi at 4. Sarat Visagar at 5. Raju Kharka at 6. Shakti Gautam at 7. Basant Ragmi at 8. Sandeep Lammichhane at 9. Vinod Das at 10. And 11 would be
either Sompal or Karan.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, all-rounders, please rank. Raju Kharka?
1. Dipender Singh Airi 2.
All right.
Shakti Gautam 3.
All right.
Gulshan Jha 4.
All right.
Mehboob Alam at 5. So
Mehboob Alam at 5.
Hello and welcome to Business World. I am Siksha Bhattrai. Here are the top business and economic stories shaping global markets, trade, technology and industry. From global trade tensions to the rapid growth of the digital economy, China's digital economy continues to expand, with core digital industries now contributing more than 10% of the country's GDP. Strong growth in digital consumption and continued investment in advanced technologies are helping drive the country's economic transformation.
China's digital economy continued its robust expansion in 2025, with the added value of the core industries accounting for over 10.5% of the country's gross domestic product GDP, according to a report by the Cyberspace Administration of China. According to classifications by the National Bureau of Statistics, China's digital economy covers 5 broad categories: digital product manufacturing, digital product services, digital technology applications, data factor-driven industries, and industries supported by digital efficiency improvements. Digital consumption by Chinese residents also surged, hitting 25.3 trillion yuan, a year-on-year increase of 8.7%. Data from the National Data Administration (NDA) showed that the added value of China's digital economy as a whole reached 49 trillion yuan in 2025, accounting for about 35% of the GDP. The growth spurt came as China accelerated its transition toward a digitized economic model, partly driven by massive investments in foundational network infrastructure like 5G and Internet Protocol version 6, that is IPv6, the newest version of the Internet Protocol.
Meanwhile, Russia is warning of a more challenging economic outlook. Russia's central bank has lowered its growth forecast for the next year while raising its inflation outlook. Officials say rising fuel prices and persistent inflationary pressures continue to weigh on the country's economic prospects.
Russia's central bank has sharply downgraded its 2026 economic outlook, cutting its GDP growth forecast to 0.0% to 1.0% from 0.5% to 1.5%, while warning that surging fuel prices will keep inflation higher than previously expected. Central Bank Governor Elvira Nabiullina said the regulator now expects inflation to reach 6% to 7% in 2026, up from its earlier forecast of 4.5% to 5.5%, citing a significant increase in fuel prices that has spread across the broader economy. The central bank also warned that elevated inflation expectations among households, businesses, and financial markets could delay a sustained slowdown in price growth. Fuel prices have accelerated since mid-May, with several Russian regions experiencing shortages in June after Ukrainian strikes targeted oil refineries, disrupting domestic fuel supplies.
In South Asia, a major industrial project is moving forward. Bangladesh and China have officially launched construction of a new economic and industrial zone near Chattogram. The project is expected to attract foreign investment, strengthen manufacturing, and create thousands of new jobs.
Bangladesh and China have launched the construction of the China's Economic and Industrial Zone CEIZ, an 800-acre industrial development near the port city of Chattogram, in a move aimed at boosting foreign investment and creating thousands of jobs. Officials from both countries inaugurated the project, which was first agreed upon more than a decade ago, but faced delays before moving forward. The industrial zone is expected to attract Chinese and other foreign companies, strengthen Bangladesh's manufacturing sector, and support economic growth. The development is part of broader efforts to expand industrial capacity and improve investment opportunities in Bangladesh. Officials say the project can generate significant employment and contribute to trade and industrial development in the region.
Back to China, where investors are closely watching the semiconductor industry. Shares of China's largest memory chip maker surged during their stock market debut, giving the company one of the highest valuations in mainland China. The milestone underscores growing investor confidence in the country's semiconductor sector.
Shares in China's biggest memory chip maker have soared by nearly 470% as they made their debut on the Shanghai Stock Exchange's tech-heavy star market. The surge has pushed Changxing Memory Technologies CXMT stock market valuation to $487 billion, making it the most valuable listed company in mainland China. The spectacular debut comes despite a sharp sell-off in technology stocks around the world this month. CXMT manufactures dynamic random access memory chips that power AI data centers, mobile phones, PCs, tablets, and other devices.
Technology regulation is also making headlines in Europe. The European Union has fined Google €890 million for violating the Bloc's Digital Markets Act. Regulators say the company unfairly favored its own services and restricted competition within its app marketplace.
U.S. President Donald Trump criticized the European Union over its decision to fine Alphabet's Google, calling the penalty illegal and accusing the bloc of targeting American companies. Trump said the United States would immediately launch a Section 301 investigation under the Trade Act of 1974 into what he described as the EU's robbing of U.S. businesses. President Trump's remarks came a day after the European Commission fined Google a total of $1 billion for violating EU rules designed to curb the market power of major technology firms. Trump warned that the European Union would face a very big price for what he called its illegal and highly unethical conduct.
Staying with the technology, Asia-Pacific economies are looking forward to the future of artificial intelligence. APEC member economies have pledged stronger cooperation on digital transformation and artificial intelligence. Ministers say closer collaboration will help boost innovation, trade and inclusive economic growth across the region. Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, or APEC economies, have pledged to strengthen collaboration on digital transformation and artificial intelligence as the region seeks to accelerate technology-driven growth. The commitment came at the 2026 APEC Digital and AI Ministerial Meeting in Chengdu of China, where ministers adopted the Chengdu Declaration, calling for digital and AI technologies to be developed and used to benefit economies and communities across the Asia-Pacific region. APEC officials said technology has become central to trade, productivity, innovation, and economic development, with artificial intelligence expected to reshape industries and the future of work. The meeting also highlighted the need for government policies that ensure businesses and workers can benefit from the AI economy, including investment in skills, innovation, and digital access. APEC members said continued cooperation will be essential to ensure emerging technologies support inclusive growth and create new opportunities across the region. Turning now to the Middle East, Palestinian financial authorities are warning that plans to suspend key banking links with Israeli banks could disrupt trade, commerce, and everyday financial transactions, posing fresh risk to an already fragile economy. Palestinian banking authorities are warning of a potential economic crisis after Israeli banks informed their Palestinian counterparts that they plan to end critical banking services within weeks. Palestinian Monetary Authority Governor Yahya Shunar said the move is not merely a banking issue, but a threat to the financial infrastructure supporting trade, commerce, and daily economic activity for millions of people. The banking links between Israeli and Palestinian financial institutions are essential for processing payments, facilitating trade, and maintaining economic transactions. Authorities warned that any disruption could affect businesses, workers, and financial stability across the Palestinian territories. Officials are urging international and regional stakeholders to help maintain the banking channels and prevent further pressure on an already fragile economy. Meanwhile, European regulators are stepping up online safety enforcement. TikTok is facing fresh charges from the European Commission over alleged violation of the Digital Services Act. Regulators say aspects of the platform's design may expose children to cyberbullying and other online risks. ByteDance's social media platform TikTok has been charged with breaching EU online content rules due to design features which could expose children to predators or cyberbullying, EU regulators said on Friday, putting the company at risk of a hefty fine. The charges, called preliminary findings under the Digital Services Act, which requires big tech to do more to tackle illegal and harmful content, are the fourth allegation against TikTok in 2 years. The European Commission, which serves as the EU tech enforcer, said TikTok accounts fall short of DSA safety standards. It said the social media platform allowed children to make their account public, enabling others to see the content and potentially exposing them to cyberbullying or contact from abusers. The global media industry is also facing a major legal hurdle. The proposed merger between Paramount Skydance and Warner Bros. Discovery has been put on hold until 2027 as U.S. courts review legal challenges.
Paramount, Skydance, and Warner Bros. Discovery have agreed to pause their $110 billion merger until June 2027, while a judge weighs upon a legal challenge against the tie-up. The pause follows lawsuits from 12 U.S. states and the Writers Guild of America, who argue the deal would harm competition and lead to higher prices for the consumers. The decision comes just days after European regulators approved the deal, on the condition Paramount would end a major film distribution partnership with Universal Pictures in the region. With the deal on hold in the US, emergency court hearings have now been cancelled. Despite the court freeze, Paramount and Warner Bros. Insist that combining their operations is essential to compete with digital streaming giants and tech conglomerates.
Artificial intelligence infrastructure continues to attract massive investment. NVIDIA and South Korea's SK Group have unveiled a major AI initiative centered on next-generation data centers and advanced memory technology, highlighting continued investment in AI infrastructure.
NVIDIA and South Korea's SK Group have unveiled an AI initiative worth more than $500 billion focused on expanding large-scale AI data centers and advancing next-generation memory technology, according to NVIDIA. The initiative includes a long-term partnership with SK Hynix to secure next-generation memory supply for NVIDIA and jointly develop high-bandwidth memory for AI training, AI agents, and physical AI applications. As part of the plan, SK Telecom reportedly will build a 2 gigawatt AI data center powered by NVIDIA's Vera Rubin chips and SK Hynix HBM4 memory, with the first facility expected to begin operations in 2027.
China is also expanding the real-world use of artificial intelligence. Chinese robotics companies are accelerating the deployment of AI-powered industrial and emergency response robots. Developers expect growing demand as production expands across multiple industries.
China's embodied AI push is creating new business opportunities, with Nanjing expanding real-world robot applications. A local robotics company is lowering production costs and scaling up manufacturing to meet growing demand. In a recent firefighting drill, an AI-powered duty robot and an explosion-proof robotic dog detected hazards, analyzed risk, and transmitted real-time data, enabling emergency systems to respond in just 1 minute. Developed by a Nanjing-based robotics company, the robotic dog uses more than 600 components, most sourced locally in Jiangsu province. The company is now developing a next-generation firefighting robot and plans to deploy more than 100,000 units nationwide between 2026 and 2028. It expects annual revenue to reach about $44 million as demand for AI-powered industrial robots continues to grow.
Turning to the housing market in South Korea now. Housing costs in Seoul continue to climb as apartment prices, rental deposits, and monthly rents rise. Seoul's housing market is facing growing pressure as apartment prices, Junse deposits, and monthly rents continue to rise, making it increasingly difficult for residents to secure homes. The deposit-based Junse rental system, a common housing arrangement in South Korea where tenants pay a large upfront sum instead of monthly rent, has seen sharp increases. In Seoul, Junse deposits for some apartments have surpassed 1.1 billion Korean won, or about $745,000, rising significantly compared with earlier this year. Rising housing costs have pushed some renters to consider buying homes instead, as the gap between purchase prices and Junse deposits narrows. With apartment prices in Seoul already rising more than 6% this year, concerns are growing over affordability and the impact on households across South Korea. In Europe, governments are responding to the economic impact of extreme weather. French insurers have agreed to cover temporary accommodation costs for thousands of residents displaced by wildfires. The support package is aimed at easing the financial burden as emergency crews battle the blaze.
French insurers will cover temporary accommodation costs for people displaced by wildfires in the Gironde, Lens, and Var regions, Economy Minister Roland Lescure said. The support package agreed with insurance industry group France Assurers will provide coverage for up to 3 weeks for evacuated residents, whether or not their homes have suffered damages. The measure comes as around 220,000 people have been forced to evacuate since Wednesday due to wildfires spreading across areas near Arcachon Bay, a major tourist destination. The French government says the initiative aims to provide financial relief to affected residents while emergency services continue firefighting operations.
And that's all for this edition of Business World. For continuing coverage of global business, markets, technology, and the economy, stay with us. Thank you for watching.
रामदी मेरो गाउँको नाम। धर्म, संस्कृति, सुन्दरता र शिक्षाको एउटा सुन्दर सम्मिश्रण पाइन्छ यहाँ, जुन अरू कतै बिरलै पाइन्छ।
My name is Selasti. I'm studying at Pharmacy. I'm Parvesh Vishal. I'm from Bhutan. Now I'm living in Ramni. I'm very happy to learn.
अति महत्त्वपूर्ण र पवित्र मानिने काली गण्डकी नदीको शीतल काखमा बसेको छ रामदी। स्याङ्जा र पाल्पा जिल्लाको केन्द्रमा पर्ने हुनाले रामदीबाट यी दुई जिल्लाका मनमोहक पहाडहरू र ससाना सुन्दर बस्तीहरू देख्न सकिन्छ। शालिग्राम नाम गरेको चम्किलो ढुङ्गा पाइने संसारकै एकमात्र काली गण्डकी नदीमा अंगिरा र वशिष्ठ नदीहरू मिसिदा बन्ने त्रिवेणीको विशेष महत्त्व छ। यस त्रिवेणीमा हरिबोधिनी एकादशी, शिवरात्रि र वैशाख संक्रान्तिका पावन अवसरमा लाग्ने विशेष मेलाहरूमा सामेल हुन पाइन्छ। रामदीमा काली गण्डकी नदी अद्भुत तरिकाले दक्षिणबाट उत्तर भई बहने उत्तर वाहिनी भएको हुँदा यस क्षेत्रको छुट्टै धार्मिक र आध्यात्मिक महत्त्व रहेको जानकारहरू बताउँछन्। यो क्षेत्र प्रसिद्ध ऋषिहरू वशिष्ठ, मार्कण्डेय, कपिलदेव र योगी नरहरिनाथको पवित्र तपोभूमि हो। योगी नरहरिनाथले 2042 सालमा गायत्री मन्त्रबाट विश्व शान्तिका लागि कोटी हवन गरेको यो ऐतिहासिक स्थलमा प्रसिद्ध ऋषि कपिलले सिद्धि प्राप्त गरेको सुनसिद्ध गुफाले आज पनि धार्मिक तथा रमणीय पर्यटकहरूको मन लोभ्याइरहेको छ। यस गुफाको सुरुङ साँघुरो भएकाले र अन्त्य पत्ता नलागेकाले यो थप आकर्षणको केन्द्र बनेको छ।
यहाँ एक स्टेप हुन्छ, त्यहाँ अर्को स्टेप हुन्छ, त्यहाँ तल्लो अझै अर्को ठुलो स्टेप छ। 15-16 जना अट्ने ठाउँ छ तल।
रामदीमा थुप्रै पर्यटकीय स्थलहरू छन्। यहाँ रहेका गायत्री मन्दिर, राधाकृष्ण मन्दिर, शिव मन्दिर आदि धार्मिक आस्थाका केन्द्रहरू हुन्। सँगै रहेको गौशालामा केही समय टहल्दा पर्यटकहरूलाई बेग्लै आनन्दको अनुभूति हुन्छ। रामदीको प्रमुख आकर्षण त्यहाँ रहेको राम नदी आश्रम हो। यो आश्रममा आध्यात्म, संस्कार, कला, शिक्षा र नयाँ पुस्ता बीचको आनन्दमय सहकार्य देख्न सकिन्छ। संस्कृत भाषामा दखल राखेका नयाँ पुस्ताको योग भजन कीर्तन मात्र नभई अंग्रेजी भाषामा पकड राख्ने र पुराना भजनदेखि नयाँ गीतहरूको गायनले आश्रम घुम्न जाने हर कोहीलाई चकित र मन्त्रमुग्ध बनाइदिन्छ। यसरी प्रकृतिको कोख र नदीहरूको काखमा बसेको रामदीमा हर कोहीलाई आकर्षित र अचम्मित गर्ने धेरै अद्भुत कुराहरू रहेका छन्।
In 18 species of turtles occurring or reported for Nepal, almost 80% found in Nepal are globally threatened. So we can imagine We need to conserve turtles. It's going to vanish very soon.
If we continue this process from Mechi to Mahakali, then one long this terrain belt will be the one green belt of the turtle conservation. These poisonous gases will generally block to reach to the Himalayan region. Then automatically the snow of mountain region will not melt, and then it will be saved as a legacy of Nepal.
We are trying our best to support to the media, local people and other conservationists also to protect this turtle. And then local peoples are also kindly aware to protect, and if they found this kind of turtles, and they are requested to send over here, and we even for those people who bring turtles, we support them from different way from our side also.
Today, the world is stressed and overwhelmed by the crisis of global climate change. The unnecessary production of the greenhouse gases accelerating the global warming, and consequently the earth temperature is approaching and increasing to cross the threshold of 1.5 degrees Celsius of Paris agreements about the COP. Therefore, this is one of the very serious situation in the world. But in our own country's scenario, we have also facing some of the environmental problem. That is the rapid urbanizations and excessive combustion of the fossil gases, dust and smoke, and forest fires, and then the landslide, and then the floodings, etc. are poisoning the gases, poisoning the air. And as a result, the groundwater table of in the terrain region is falling and leading to the desertification. And likewise, in the mountain and in the mountain region, the mountain streams are drying out, and it is converting into the barren land, and likely the snow of the Himalaya is melting and turning into the black rock. This is the very serious consequences found in Nepal, and therefore how to mitigate such types of changes, which is facing not only in the world but also in our own country. So just in my mind, one thing occurred, that this would be prevented by the process of herpetofauna conservation. So my topic becomes the perspectives of global warming by herpetofauna conservation. This is my motto. This is my statement. And how it would be possible to conserve the nature, or so to mitigate the global warming. Herpetofauna, especially wetland living herpetofauna, and if we can choose amphibia, means that's the frog from hill stream frog from the amphibia, as well as the especially turtle from the reptilia. And these two groups of the herpetofauna, this mountain stream frog is called the paha, and the turtles are naturally, it lives in the Terai region, and both these this paha species as well as this turtle species, we can make it as a key species for conservation to climate adaptation program. Means if we have to do the climate adaptation work, then we can use these two species, especially paha species and turtle species. And they are also found in different regions. Pahas are found in the midland of Nepal, means in mountain regions. And these turtles are found in the Terai region. So now both have dual life cycles. In turtle, they are natural. They are the aquatic one. Means they spend most of their life in the water. But during its breeding season, they have to come on land to lay egg, and thereafter, till it's hatching out, it has to live on the land. And when it becomes a small juvenile, then it again go back to the water to spend its independent life. This is the consequences. So these two things generally, both is this amphibia as well as these turtles. They need that they have the dual life cycle. So if such types of species can conserve in situ, for 1 decade, then what will happen? Then the water, land, forest, and for biodiversity, they will be restored, and it will establish an ideal ideal wetland ecosystems. And this ideal and ecosystem is just like you can take. This is the example of this this Sukhani Memorial, this park. This is one example of these very things. It is the establishment of an ideal wetland ecosystem. Herpetofauna conservation wetlands ecosystem. Wetland ecosystem can be established, in this region, either in the mountain region or in the Terai region. When this newly formed wetland is occurred, then what will happen? This dry ground in the Terai region will recharge, and then one of the green turtle conservation, that is the belt, will be established there. And these kinds of if we continue this process from Mechi to Mahakali, then one long this terrain belt will be the one green belt of the turtle conservation. In this case, this belt will help to neutralize and to neutralize and purify the toxic air blowing to the Himalayan regions. These poisonous gases will generally block to reach to the Himalayan region. Then automatically the snow of mountain region will not melt, and then it will be safe as a legacy of Nepal.
This park was established for the beautiful tourist destination, because this is very beautiful area also to visit for the tourists. Around 2 lakhs, more than 2 lakhs persons, they visit this park annually. This is the only park which is given this authority by the government of Nepal to protect the turtles, and we are trying our best in this course, and we have tried our best to make conscious people for the protection and conservation of the turtles. Then this area is very famous to find the different turtles. We are trying our best to support to the media, local people, and other conservationists also to protect this turtle. And then local peoples are also kindly aware to protect, and if they found this kind of turtles, and they are requested to send over here, and we even for those people who bring turtles, we support them from different way from our side also.
As per recent data, there are 369 species of turtles in the world. In Nepal, recently, some researchers from Western Nepal, from Kailali district, they recorded a new species of turtle for Nepal. It's called Indian star tortoise. Considering that in Nepal there are 18 species and 2 subspecies, we can say so 18 species or 20 taxa of turtles are reported for Nepal. And in our conservation center, there are 9 species, and that 9 species also includes one foreign species or one invasive species. Previously, it was very popular in pet trade. Generally, people they keep it as pet for some time, and when it grows into adulthood, it's very difficult for them to care. At the same time, we regularly conduct awareness program, and they understand it is illegal to keep turtles, so they hand over to us. So we have 9 species of turtles in our center, and previously we used to keep or maintain almost 60 individuals of turtle. We have reduced it to 40, almost 40 individuals of turtles are maintained in our center. So I just want to say about the establishment of our center. Basically, this center was established as a joint venture program of Nepali organization, or this very organization is called Sukhani Martyrs Memorial Foundation. This Nepali organization and another scientific organization which is based in Germany, it's called Amphibian and Reptile Conservation Society of Nepal, or in short it's called ARCO Nepal. It's a joint venture program of these 2 organizations. This conservation center was established in 2012, and interestingly, it's a kind of pride for us. It is the only conservation center for turtle that is permitted by the Ministry of Forest and Environment in Nepal. So we have been continuously working from 2012 to till now. So what I would like to stress is that in 18 species of turtles occurring or reported for Nepal, almost 80%. That means almost 80%. That means if we just go into the depth, 77.78% of turtles found in Nepal are globally threatened. So we can imagine we need to conserve turtles. If we didn't conserve turtles, then it's going to vanish very soon. There are many ecological importance of turtles, so I just wanted to just give few points. The first thing is the aquatic turtles. They act as scavengers in wetland, like a vulture. It eats decayed materials or decayed dead bodies. In the same way, the aquatic turtles, those living in water body, they feed on dead fishes or weak fishes or injured fishes, so it cleans the environment. Likewise, it is also helpful in seed dispersal, not only in seed dispersal but also fungal spore dispersal. So that's very interesting. Even it contributes in that part. Likewise, we can say the importance of turtles in food web is very much. That means many birds and many mammals, even the crabs, they feed on juveniles, that means babies of turtles. And even many mammals, many birds eat turtles eggs. So its importance in food web is also equally important. So we can say that. And the other very important thing, the very important ecological importance of turtle is it transfers energy from aquatic ecosystem to terrestrial ecosystem. That means most of the freshwater turtles, they live in some water body, but for breeding purpose, for laying eggs, they have to come out of water. So that means it lays eggs. That very eggs, it cells. It is also a type of mineral. There are some minerals in that cell. Likewise, many animals and birds eat that egg. So they helps in transfer of energy from aquatic body to terrestrial ecosystem. Likewise, turtles are worshipped, or what to say, turtles are also worshipped in Eastern philosophy, like in Hindu mythology and all. This very turtle is called Kurma. That means reincarnation of God Vishnu. So in that way, culturally also, it carries the significance. This is brown-roofed turtle. Its scientific name is Pangsura smithi. Actually, this turtle is found in Kosi River, and it was rescued from that place. And this is male. Males are very small. whereas the females are almost 3 to 5 times larger than this. So we have rescued this turtle from Koshi. Actually, some people from Dholabari, they had kept this turtle, and we convinced them that it is illegal to keep turtles. So they hand over it to us. And talking about its food, it is omnivorous. Though some scientists claim it to be vegetarian, but in our experience, it feeds on both plant matters and also flesh. So it's very cute. Basically, it likes to bask on the stone.
आदरणीय बुवा आमा दिदीबहिनी तथा दाजुभाइहरू, म आज एक अत्यन्त संवेदनशील घडीमा तपाईहरु सामु उपस्थित भएको छु। केही दिन अघि सुनसरीको देवानगञ्ज, सिराहा लगायतका स्थानमा भएको दुःखद घटना र त्यसपछि केही जिल्लाहरूमा उत्पन्न अशान्त वातावरणलाई लिएर नेपाल सरकार पूर्ण रूपमा गम्भीर र संवेदनशील छ। यस दुःखद घटनामा परि निधन हुनुभएका हाम्रा नागरिकहरू जयप्रकाश मेहता, ओम प्रकाश मेहता र गणेश यादवप्रति म भावपूर्ण श्रद्धाञ्जली अर्पण गर्दछु। साथै शोक सन्तप्त परिवारजनहरूमा नेपाल सरकारका तर्फबाट गहिरो संवेदना व्यक्त गर्दछु। घटनामा परि घाइते हुनुभएका सम्पूर्ण नागरिकहरूको शीघ्र स्वास्थ्य लाभको कामना गर्दछु। घाइतेहरूको उपचारमा कुनै पनि प्रकारको कमी वा ढिलाइ हुन नदिन सम्बन्धित स्वास्थ्य निकायहरूलाई स्पष्ट निर्देशन दिइसकिएको छ। घटना भए लगत्तै सबै सुरक्षा निकायहरूले तत्काल घटनास्थलमा पुगेर परिस्थितिलाई सामान्य बनाउने, थप अप्रिय घटना हुन नदिने र शान्ति सुरक्षा कायम गर्ने प्रयास निरन्तर गरिरहेका छन्। घटनाको निष्पक्ष छानबिन गरी दोषीलाई कडा कानुनी कारबाही गर्न गृह मन्त्रालयले छानबिन समिति गठन गरिसकेको छ। म सबैमा विश्वास दिलाउन चाहन्छु कि यो छानबिन पूर्ण रूपमा निष्पक्ष र पारदर्शी हुनेछ। घटनामा संलग्न दोषी जो कोही भए पनि कानुनी दायरामा ल्याउन सरकार प्रतिबद्ध छ। अवस्था थप नबिग्रियोस्, कुनै पनि नागरिकको जनधनको क्षति हुन नपाओस् र स्थानीय स्तरमा विश्वासको वातावरण बनोस् भन्नका लागि नेपाल सरकार निरन्तर क्रियाशील छ। परिस्थिति सामान्यीकरण गर्न केन्द्र स्तरमा सर्वदलीय बैठक आह्वान गरी गहन छलफल गरिएको छ। स्थानीय तहसम्मै जनप्रतिनिधि, नागरिक समाज, विभिन्न धार्मिक गुरुहरू, समुदायका अगुवा तथा सामाजिक व्यक्तित्वहरूसँग निरन्तर संवाद भइरहेको छ। स्थानीय स्थितिको प्रत्यक्ष अनुगमन गर्न, पीडित पक्षसँग संवाद गर्न र शान्ति सुरक्षालाई थप सुदृढ बनाउन गृहमन्त्री स्वयं सो स्थानमा पुगिसक्नु भएको छ। साथै देशको समग्र शान्ति सुरक्षाको अवस्थाबारे गम्भीर समीक्षा गर्न राष्ट्रिय सुरक्षा परिषदको बैठक बसी परिस्थिति अनुसारका आवश्यक निर्णयहरू समेत गरिसकिएको छ। यस्तो संवेदनशील घडीमा सामाजिक सञ्जाल वा अन्य माध्यमबाट असत्य, अपुष्ट सूचना, अफवाह, घृणा फैलाउने सामग्री वा समुदायबीच वैमनस्य बढाउने अभिव्यक्ति प्रचार प्रसार नगराउन अनुरोध गर्दछु। साथै सरकारी निकायहरूबाट जारी भएका आधिकारिक तथ्य र सूचना मात्र विश्वास गर्न विशेष आग्रह गर्दछु। प्रत्येक नागरिकको जीवधनको रक्षा गर्नु, सामाजिक सद्भाव जोगाउनु र समाजमा शान्ति कायम राख्नु राज्यको सर्वोच्च र प्राथमिक दायित्व हो। आगामी दिनमा पनि राज्य थप सतर्क र संवेदनशील रहनेछ। प्रत्येक नागरिकको जीवन सुरक्षाका लागि सरकारका सम्पूर्ण संयन्त्रहरू अहोरात्र खटिनेछन्। शान्ति सुरक्षा भङ्ग गर्ने, अराजकता फैलाउने वा हाम्रो सदियौं पुरानो सामाजिक सद्भाव, सहिष्णुता र भाइचारा खलबलाउने कुनै पनि क्रियाकलापप्रति सरकार पूर्ण रूपमा सचेत छ र यस गतिविधिमाथि कडा कदम चालिनेछन्। नेपालको संविधानले प्रत्येक नागरिकलाई आआफ्नो धर्म, संस्कृति र परम्परा मान्ने मौलिक हक प्रदान गरेको छ। यो संवैधानिक दायित्व निर्वाह गर्न सरकार पूर्ण रूपमा प्रतिबद्ध छ। धर्म समाजलाई आपसमा जोड्ने र प्रेम बाँड्ने शक्ति हो। संसारको कुनै पनि धर्म वा संस्कृतिले हिंसा, घृणा र विभाजन सिकाउँदैन। सबै धर्मको मूल सार करुणा, दया, प्रेम र शान्ति नै हो। देशको कुनै एक स्थानमा भएको अनपेक्षित र दुःखद घटनालाई लिएर कुनै सिङ्गो समुदायलाई आरोपित गर्नु र देशका अन्य भूभागमा समेत त्यसको प्रतिशोधको आगो फैलाउनु कुनै पनि दृष्टिकोणबाट न्यायोचित वा न्यायसङ्गत हुन सक्दैन। आदरणीय बुवा आमा, दिदीबहिनी तथा दाजुभाइहरू, हाम्रो इतिहास साक्षी छ कठिनभन्दा कठिन र अप्ठ्यारो परिस्थितिमा पनि आपसी एकता, सहिष्णुता र विवेक नै हाम्रो सबैभन्दा ठूलो शक्ति बनेका छन्। हामी सबैले जिम्मेवार नागरिकको भूमिका निर्वाह गर्दै यो सुन्दर र शान्त नेपाली आकाशमा मडारिएको अशान्तिको बादल हटाउनु पर्नेछ।
Pokhara is undoubtedly #1 destination for tourists in Nepal. The valley, blessed with natural beauty, attracts domestic and foreign tourists alike. You must have already visited Pokhara. If you haven't or planning another trip, then these are some of the must-go places in Pokhara. The first attraction in Pokhara is the Pheva Lake. Boating in Pheva Lake is a ritual for every tourist visiting this paradise. The Tal Barahi temple at the center of the lake adds to the beauty of the place. A round-trip boat ride in Pheva Lake to and from the temple is a feature of both the lake as well as the temple. Separate boat ride, watching the reflection of Mount Machapuchre on the lake and fishing spice up the Pheva experience. The lakeside along the banks of the Pheva Lake is a popular tourist hub. Many tourists in Pokhara choose Devi's Fall as their second destination in Pokhara. The water from Pheva Lake exits towards Seti River through the Gupteshwar cave from this Devi's Fall. The mighty water stream rushing deep down into the gorge, covered by water vapor, is a magical sight. Pokhara is known as the city of lakes and caves. Many of the lakes and caves have religious importance. This is Gupteshwar cave at Chorepatan area. Inside the cave, the idol of Lord Shiva is a well-known pilgrimage. Further inside the cave, one can see the Devi's Fall. Mahendra Cave is another famous place in Pokhara. Nearby is another well-known Chamere cave. Both the caves can be visited together. Two other well-known tourist destinations in Pokhara are Begnas and Rupa lakes. Fresh fish of Begnas lake is a sought-after delicacy. Rupa lake is just round the corner beyond a small hill towards the eastern edge of Begnas lake. Away from the hustle and bustle of the town, Begnas and Rupa lakes cannot be taken out of a tourist's itinerary. This is the famous White Monastery on top of the hill above Pheva Lake. This is also a popular destination for domestic as well as foreign tourists. The top-angle bird's-eye view of Pokhara city from the monastery is a sight to behold. The placid Pheva Lake, the tall mountain range, and the birds like paragliding pilots on the background of Sarankot Hill are mesmerizing. The Bindabasini temple in Pokhara is a famous shrine in Nepal. The best route to visit the temple is on the way to Sarankot. Devotees throng the Bindabasini temple, which is atop a small hill with panoramic view of Pokhara city. The Bindabasini temple is famous among the Hindus across the country. Sarangkot is a hill station on top of a hill on the northwestern side of Pokhara. A must-go place to see the majestic Mount Machapuchre and Mount Dhaulagiri in the Annapurna range in front of the eyes, and also the Pokhara and Leknath cities on the other side. Sarangkot is synonymous to paragliding in Nepal. Taking off from the Sarangkot hill, one can enjoy the panoramic mountain range in addition to the bird's eye view of Pokhara city. Ultralight and zip flyer offer a thrill to adventure seekers in Pokhara and are becoming major interests for tourists. Other places, including Swarak in Sangja, have the potential to be world's best place for paragliding. First time in Nepal, Paragliding Accuracy World Cup was held at this place, situated at Mahapur of Virkot municipality of the district. The place drew global attention after the event. Pokhara, famous tourism destination of the country. Majority of locals engaged in tourism industry. The city of lakes and caves, hub of aviation sports. Some major destinations: Lakeside, Feva Lake and Tal Barahi Temple, Begnas and Rupa Lakes, Mahendra Gufa.
Kathmandu has long been known as a place where natural beauty, history, culture, and spirituality come together in remarkable harmony. Rising above the western side of the valley stands Swambhunath, one of Nepal's most revered and ancient sites. Many simply call it Swambhu. For countless generations, it has been a sanctuary of spiritual devotion, a place where the first light of morning touches the prayer flags, and where monks and devotees begin their day in meditation and worship. Swambhu is cherished by Buddhists from all over the world, yet it holds equal significance for many Hindus. This shared reverence creates a rare sense of unity within its sacred grounds. The origins of Swambhunath stretch back at least 2.5 millennia. Inscriptions and centuries-old statues found throughout the site testify to its long-standing presence and its profound cultural importance. The stupa itself is one of Nepal's traditional religious landmarks, crowned by the serene eyes of the Buddha that gaze out across all four directions. These eyes are regarded as a message of compassion, awareness, and peace for all beings. For Buddhists, the stupa and its symbols become a guide toward understanding the teachings of the Buddha. For Hindu visitors, the temples and images of deities within the complex hold deep spiritual meaning of their own. In 1989, Swayambhunath was formally recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site, an honor that elevated Nepal's cultural identity on the global stage and helped protect this extraordinary place for future generations. The surroundings of Swayambhu offer many places of interest. Pilgrims and travelers often find themselves captivated by the calm atmosphere and the panoramic views over the Kathmandu Valley. The architecture of the complex reflects a graceful blend of Nepali and Tibetan influences. The stupa follows ancient Nepali design traditions, while the monasteries and retreat houses that surround it reflect elements of Tibetan craftsmanship. These two styles together give Swayambhunath a distinctive character found nowhere else. Preserving Swayambhu is not only a religious responsibility, it is an effort guided equally by historical and cultural commitment. The temples, statues, and inscriptions within the complex carry stories that span centuries. The main stupa, crowned by the four compassionate eyes, remains the heart of the site. Monks gather each day to meditate and study. Within these halls, elaborate paintings and sacred sculptures portray episodes from the life of the Buddha and remind visitors of the spiritual traditions that continue to flourish here. The entrance to Swayambhunath features a gate designed to convey purity and reverence. Sculptures and painted figures on the gate reveal the guiding ideals of Buddhist philosophy. Scattered around the grounds are ancient inscriptions that preserve the history of the land. Statues of various Buddhas stand alongside images of Parvati and Shiva, creating a space where cultural diversity and shared devotion coexist with harmony. Swayambhunath is one of Nepal's most visited destinations. Its landscapes, spiritual gravity, and cultural richness draw people from around the world. Each year, Millions of visitors, both local and international, climb the steps leading toward the stupa. Their presence contributes greatly to Nepal's tourism economy and to the livelihoods of those who live and work nearby. Quake of 2015 brought significant destruction to Swayambhunath. Several structures collapsed and many priceless sculptures were damaged. The impact on the site's cultural heritage was deeply felt throughout the country. Yet, the response to this tragedy revealed the strength of the community. Local residents, government agencies, cultural experts, monks, and international organizations came together to restore the complex. The rebuilding process became more than a physical reconstruction. It became a spiritual effort guided by devotion and the hope of preserving peace and compassion for future generations. Today, visitors find improved pathways, restored shrines, and safe spaces from which to explore the site. Nearby, guest houses and small hotels offer comfortable places to stay for those who wish to spend more time experiencing the surroundings. For many, Swayambhu is not only a religious landmark but a symbol of introspection and inner calm.
Nepal's Prime Minister Shah promises security and justice in his address to the nation. President Paudel urges peace and unity. One killed in Siraha protest as security tightens. Curfews extended. Security Council discusses peace measures. Lawmakers urge against politicizing Sunsari incident. Call for responsibility of all to prevent similar events. Snake bites rise across Nepal during monsoon season. Over 600 cases reported. Authorities urge quick medical response. US launches major airstrikes on Iran. Hostilities escalate into fifth month. And UEFA weighs World Cup boycott over FIFA plan. Infantino's $20 billion proposal sparks backlash. Hello there, I'm Smita Gisane Thamang. Welcome to NTV World News Hour, coming to you live from Kathmandu at 2200 hours Nepal time. Now the news in detail. Nepal's Prime Minister Balendra Shah has urged citizens to maintain tolerance, harmony and national unity following deadly clashes in Sunsari and Siraha districts. Addressing the nation, Prime Minister Shah expressed condolences to the families of those killed in the incidents and said the government remains fully committed to restoring peace and security. The Prime Minister called on people not to spread rumours, unverified information or messages that could create tension, urging everyone to act with restraint and responsibility.
नमस्कार आदरणीय बुवा आमा दिदी बहिनी तथा दाजुभाइहरू म आज एक अत्यन्त संवेदनशील घडीमा तपाईहरु सामु उपस्थित भएको छु केही दिनअघि सुनसरीको देवानगञ्ज सिराहा लगायतका स्थानमा भएको दुःखद घटना र त्यसपछि केही जिल्लाहरूमा उत्पन्न अशान्त वातावरणलाई लिएर नेपाल सरकार पूर्ण रूपमा गम्भीर र संवेदनशील छ। यस दुःखद घटनामा परि निधन हुनुभएका हाम्रा नागरिकहरू जयप्रकाश मेहता, ओम प्रकाश मेहता र गणेश यादवप्रति म भावपूर्ण श्रद्धाञ्जली अर्पण गर्दछु। साथै शोक सन्तप्त परिवारजनहरूमा नेपाल सरकारका तर्फबाट गहिरो संवेदना व्यक्त गर्दछु। घटनामा परि घाइते हुनुभएका सम्पूर्ण नागरिकहरूको शीघ्र स्वास्थ्य लाभको कामना गर्दछु। घाइतेहरूको उपचारमा कुनै पनि प्रकारको कमी वा ढिलाइ हुन नदिन सम्बन्धित स्वास्थ्य निकायहरूलाई स्पष्ट निर्देशन दिइसकिएको छ। घटना भए लगत्तै सबै सुरक्षा निकायहरूले तत्काल घटनास्थलमा पुगेर परिस्थितिलाई सामान्य बनाउने, थप अप्रिय घटना हुन नदिने र शान्ति सुरक्षा कायम गर्ने प्रयास निरन्तर गरिरहेका छन्। घटनाको निष्पक्ष छानबिन गरी दोषीलाई कडा कानुनी कारबाही गर्न गृह मन्त्रालयले छानबिन समिति गठन गरिसकेको छ। म सबैमा विश्वास दिलाउन चाहन्छु कि यो छानबिन पूर्ण रूपमा निष्पक्ष र पारदर्शी हुनेछ। घटनामा संलग्न दोषी जो कोही भए पनि कानुनी दायरामा ल्याउन सरकार प्रतिबद्ध छ। अवस्था थप नबिग्रियोस्, कुनै पनि नागरिकको जनधनको क्षति हुन नपाओस् र स्थानीय स्तरमा विश्वासको वातावरण बनोस् भन्नका लागि नेपाल सरकार निरन्तर क्रियाशील छ। परिस्थिति सामान्यीकरण गर्न केन्द्र स्तरमा सर्वदलीय बैठक आह्वान गरी गहन छलफल गरिएको छ। स्थानीय तहसम्मै जनप्रतिनिधि, नागरिक समाज, विभिन्न धार्मिक गुरुहरू, समुदायका अगुवा तथा सामाजिक व्यक्तित्वहरूसँग निरन्तर संवाद भइरहेको छ। स्थानीय स्थितिको प्रत्यक्ष अनुगमन गर्न, पीडित पक्षसँग संवाद गर्न र शान्ति सुरक्षालाई थप सुदृढ बनाउन गृहमन्त्री स्वयं सो स्थानमा पुगिसक्नु भएको छ। साथै देशको समग्र शान्ति सुरक्षाको अवस्थाबारे गम्भीर समीक्षा गर्न राष्ट्रिय सुरक्षा परिषदको बैठक बसी परिस्थिति अनुसारका आवश्यक निर्णयहरू समेत गरिसकिएको छ। यस्तो संवेदनशील घडीमा सामाजिक सञ्जाल वा अन्य माध्यमबाट असत्य, अपुष्ट सूचना, अफवाह, घृणा फैलाउने सामग्री वा समुदायबीच वैमनस्य बढाउने अभिव्यक्ति प्रचार प्रसार नगराउन अनुरोध गर्दछु। साथै सरकारी निकायहरूबाट जारी भएका आधिकारिक तथ्य र सूचना मात्र विश्वास गर्न विशेष आग्रह गर्दछु। प्रत्येक नागरिकको जीवधनको रक्षा गर्नु, सामाजिक सद्भाव जोगाउनु र समाजमा शान्ति कायम राख्नु राज्यको सर्वोच्च र प्राथमिक दायित्व हो। आगामी दिनमा पनि राज्य थप सतर्क र संवेदनशील रहनेछ। प्रत्येक नागरिकको जीवन सुरक्षाका लागि सरकारका सम्पूर्ण संयन्त्रहरू अहोरात्र खटिनेछन्। शान्ति सुरक्षा भङ्ग गर्ने, अराजकता फैलाउने वा हाम्रो सदियौं पुरानो सामाजिक सद्भाव, सहिष्णुता र भाइचारा खलबलाउने कुनै पनि क्रियाकलापप्रति सरकार पूर्ण रूपमा सचेत छ र यस गतिविधिमाथि कडा कदम चालिनेछन्। नेपालको संविधानले प्रत्येक नागरिकलाई आआफ्नो धर्म, संस्कृति र परम्परा मान्ने मौलिक हक प्रदान गरेको छ। यो संवैधानिक दायित्व निर्वाह गर्न सरकार पूर्ण रूपमा प्रतिबद्ध छ। धर्म समाजलाई आपसमा जोड्ने र प्रेम बाँड्ने शक्ति हो। संसारको कुनै पनि धर्म वा संस्कृतिले हिंसा, घृणा र विभाजन सिकाउँदैन। सबै धर्मको मूल सार करुणा, दया, प्रेम र शान्ति नै हो। देशको कुनै एक स्थानमा भएको अनपेक्षित र दुःखद घटनालाई लिएर कुनै सिङ्गो समुदायलाई आरोपित गर्नु र देशका अन्य भूभागमा समेत त्यसको प्रतिशोधको आगो फैलाउनु कुनै पनि दृष्टिकोणबाट न्यायोचित वा न्यायसङ्गत हुन सक्दैन। आदरणीय बुवा आमा, दिदीबहिनी तथा दाजुभाइहरू, हाम्रो इतिहास साक्षी छ कठिनभन्दा कठिन र अप्ठ्यारो परिस्थितिमा पनि आपसी एकता, सहिष्णुता र विवेक नै हाम्रो सबैभन्दा ठूलो शक्ति बनेका छन्। हामी सबैले जिम्मेवार नागरिकको भूमिका निर्वाह गर्दै यो सुन्दर र शान्त नेपाली आकाशमा मडारिएको अशान्तिको बादल हटाउनु पर्नेछ।
The Prime Minister said an investigation committee has been formed to conduct a fair and transparent inquiry, and those responsible for the violence will face legal action. Nepal President Ramchandra Paudel has urged citizens to maintain peace, social harmony and national unity following a recent incident in Kaptanganj of Sunsari's Dewanganj rural municipality. In a statement, President Paudel expressed condolences to those who lost their lives and extended sympathy to the bereaved families while wishing a speedy recovery for the injured. The President called on authorities to ensure that those responsible for any wrongdoing are dealt with according to the law and urged all sides to work together to protect Nepal's long-standing traditions of social, religious and cultural harmony. The government of Nepal's Madhya province has called on communities to protect social harmony, religious tolerance and mutual trust following concerns over rising tensions and incidents of provocation. Madhya Province's Minister for Home Affairs, Communications and Law, Fakira Mahato, issued an appeal warning that violence, communal tension and misinformation could threaten peaceful coexistence in the region. The minister said Madhya is home to diverse religions, cultures, languages and communities and urged people not to give religious or communal interpretations to individual incidents or spread unverified information on social media. Authorities have instructed security agencies to maintain peace, security and the rule of law. Mahato warned that anyone involved in violence, vandalism, arson or activities aimed at provoking communal hatred would face legal action. Nepal's Minister for Communications and Information Technology, Dr. Bikram Timilsina, has urged media outlets, journalists and the public to share only verified and responsible information following recent incidents in several parts of the country. The minister said the government is taking the developments seriously and working on concrete measures to address this situation. Minister Timilsina warned that misinformation and inflammatory content could worsen tensions and risk triggering violence. Dr. Timilsina called on media organizations, social media users and citizens to avoid spreading unverified reports, hate speech or material targeting any community or group. A 20-year-old man has been killed after police opened fire during a protest in Gol Bazar area of Siraha district in Nepal's Madhya province. The incident occurred after authorities imposed a curfew, fearing the security situation could deteriorate following demonstrations against the recent violence in Sunsari district. Protesters defied the restrictions, staged rallies and vandalized vehicles, prompting police to intervene. The deceased has been identified as Ganesh Yadav from Tulsipur of Aurahi Rural Municipality. Another person, Subhash Thakur, was injured and taken to Biratnagar for treatment. Following the incident, the Siraha administration extended curfew measures in several parts of Gol Bazar with increased security deployment in the area. Meanwhile, authorities have also imposed restrictions in parts of the Nusha and Parsa districts, while tensions continue in Sunsari after a second person died from injuries sustained during earlier clashes. Officials have urged residents to maintain calm, avoid provocation and help preserve social harmony as investigations continue. Nepal's parliament has seen renewed calls for prime ministerial clarification over earlier border-related remarks as opposition lawmakers pressed the government on the issue during the House of Representatives meeting. Lawmakers also raised concerns over the recent unrest in Sunsari's Kaptanganj, calling for an impartial investigation into the death of a local youth and urging authorities to ensure accountability while maintaining peace and security.
यस खालका समस्या जो देखा पर्न खोजेका छन् तिनको पनि संवाद र सहकार्यको माध्यमबाट समाधान गर्ने र आम जनताको एकताको माध्यमबाट त्यसभित्र घुसपेट गर्न खोज्ने र परिस्थितिलाई अझ असहज बनाउन खोज्ने प्रवृत्ति विचार र शक्तिलाई परास्त गर्न एकजुट हुन अपील पनि गर्न चाहन्छु.
Snake bite incidents have increased across Nepal during the monsoon season, with government data recording more than 600 cases and 53 deaths since mid-April. According to the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Authority (NDRRMA), 600 snake bite cases were reported between April 14 and July 30 as heavy rainfall, flooding and waterlogging pushed snakes closer to human settlements. Experts say expanding settlements, habitat loss, unplanned urban growth and rising temperatures are also contributing to more frequent encounters between humans and snakes. Authorities have urged the public to take preventive measures and seek immediate medical treatment after snake bites instead of relying on traditional remedies. The United States has launched a major wave of airstrikes against Iran, targeting dozens of Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps military sites in retaliation for Iran's attempted missile attacks on American forces. According to U.S. Central Command, the strikes at missile and drone facilities, command centers, and coastal defense sites after Iran fired ballistic missiles at a U.S. base in Jordan and targeted ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian state media says at least 3 people, including a 2-year-old child, were killed in one of the strikes, while several locations across southern and western Iran were hit. The latest escalation follows months of fighting between Washington and Tehran, despite recent hopes for diplomatic talks and efforts by Saudi Arabia to reduce tensions. UEFA is holding an emergency virtual meeting with its 55 member associations to discuss a possible boycott of the FIFA World Cup over FIFA President Gianni Infantino's proposal to create a $20 billion commercial company backed by private investors. The proposed entity, known as FIFA Forward Enterprise, would manage the commercial and operational rights of major FIFA tournaments, while FIFA says it would retain control over sporting matters. UEFA has criticized the plan, saying football is not FIFA's to sell, and raising concerns over transparency and a September 19 deadline reportedly given to member associations to accept an initial payout. Tonight on Issue of the Day, we look at growing security concerns across parts of Madhya and Koshi provinces as authorities impose curfews and restrictions following incidents of unrest. From Siraha, Dhanusha, Parsa to Sunsari, we bring you the latest developments, government response and efforts to restore peace after this break. Welcome back. You're watching NTV World, and this is the News Hour. And now we turn into our issue of the day. Authorities in Nepal's Siraha district have imposed a curfew in parts of Gol Bazar municipality following concerns over possible unrest and disruption to public order. The district administration office said the restrictions were introduced after reviewing the local security situation and the risk of protests and disturbances. The curfew, effective from 2 p.m. until further notice, covers several areas around the east-west highway and nearby wards of Gol Bazar. Officials have urged residents to remain indoors except for essential activities and warned that violations of the order could lead to legal action. Security forces have been placed on alert with increased monitoring in affected areas to maintain peace and stability. Also in neighbouring Dhanusha district, an indefinite curfew has been enforced following concerns over public order and possible unrest. The restrictions introduced by the district administration officers prohibit movement, gatherings, demonstrations and public assemblies in designated areas. Officials have urged residents to cooperate with the orders, warning that violations could lead to legal action. Security forces have been placed on alert with increased surveillance as authorities work to restore calm and maintain peace in the affected regions. In Parsa district, the local administration has imposed restrictions on gatherings and public demonstrations in designated areas of Birganj metropolitan city amid security concerns. The district administration office said the order, effective from 5 p.m. today until 6 a.m. Friday, bans gatherings of 5 or more people, rallies, assemblies and protests within the specified boundaries. A second youth injured by gunfire during the violence incident in Kaptanganj of Dewanganj Rural Municipality 3 Sunsari has died during treatment. With this, the death toll from the Dewanganj shooting incident has risen to 2. The district police office Sunsari confirmed that 22-year-old Jai Prakash Mehta, a resident of Dewanganj 3, died while receiving treatment at Neuro Hospital in Biratnagar. The violence reportedly began on Sunday night following a dispute between two communities over loud music being played during a Bolbam religious procession. Meanwhile, local authorities have continued the curfew in Sunsari to control the situation. Following the incident, an all-party and multi-stakeholder meeting was held at the district administration office to ease tensions. Meanwhile, Nepal's Home Minister Sudhan Gurung has visited Sunsari district to assess the security situation and the latest developments in areas affected by recent communal tensions. Minister Gurung travelled to Kaptanganj in Dewanganj Rural Municipality 3 after meeting Prime Minister Balendra Shah at the office of the Prime Minister and Council of the Ministers. During the visit, the Home Minister is expected to meet the families of Om Prakash Mehta, who was killed in the clash on August 10, and Jai Prakash Mehta, who died today while undergoing treatment for injuries sustained in the same incident. Health and Food Hygiene Minister Nisha Mehta also accompanied Gurung to Sunsari. Nepal's ruling Rashtriya Swatantra Party has urged its lawmakers to play a role in promoting social harmony and religious tolerance amid ongoing tensions in Sunsari and parts of Madhya province. Party chair Rabi Lamichhane instructed lawmakers from Koshi and Madhya provinces to help coordinate efforts to ease the situation and support peace-building initiatives. The directive came after a meeting with RSP lawmakers in Kathmandu. Party Chief Whip Prakash Chandra Pariyar said Lamichhane stressed the need for a cooperative approach to address recent incidents. The 43rd meeting of the National Security Council (NSC) has decided to make coordination among all security bodies and stakeholders more effective to maintain social harmony and national unity. The meeting, presided over by Prime Minister and Chairperson of the NSC, Balendra Shah, held at the office of the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers, Singadarbar, today, reviewed the overall security situation of the country, and the Sunsari incident occurred on July 26, said Council's Member Secretary and Secretary of the Defence Ministry, Kedarnath Sharma. Sharma mentioned that a decision was also taken to carry out work more efficiently in order to maintain social harmony and national unity by coordinating with all security bodies and stakeholders to prevent such incidents in future. Similarly, discussion was also held on strengthening cooperation between the bodies concerned to effectively operate search, rescue and relief activities and disaster incidents on time on the occasion. That brings us to the close of the issue of the day, and now we move on to the next segment. As monsoon rains intensify, snakebite cases are rising across Nepal, with hundreds affected and dozens of lives lost this year. Tonight on Cover Story, we explore why snake encounters are increasing, the challenges faced by hospitals treating victims, and what people need to know to stay safe after this break. Time now for Cover Story of the Day. Snake bite cases have surged across Nepal during this year's monsoon, with government data showing more than 600 incidents and 53 deaths since mid-April. Authorities say heavy rainfall, flooding and expanding human settlements are forcing snakes closer to residential areas, increasing the risk of encounters. Officials are urging the public to take preventive measures and seek immediate medical treatment instead of relying on traditional remedies after snake bite. Sabika Shrestha brings more.
Government data shows that snakebite incidents have increased significantly in recent months in Nepal. According to official statistics, since mid-April, 53 people have died and more than 600 have been injured due to snakebites across the country. Since the onset of the monsoon, snakebite cases have been rising across different parts of the country. Experts say heavy rainfall, flooding, and waterlogging in farmlands and residential areas force snakes to seek safer shelter near human settlements, increasing the risk of encounters. In addition, the expansion of human settlements, shrinking forest areas, unplanned urbanization, and rising temperatures have also contributed to the growing number of snakebite incidents. According to the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Authority, more than 600 cases of snakebite were reported between April 14 and July 30, resulting in 53 deaths. During the same period last year, only around 200 snakebite cases were recorded, although the death toll was slightly higher at 58. The government has been coordinating with local governments and relevant stakeholders to implement various programs aimed at reducing snakebite incidents and ensuring timely treatment for victims.
हामीले चाहिँ यसमा नीति योजनाहरू बनाउने विषय भयो, समन्वयका विषयहरू भए, सचेतना फैलाउने विषयहरू भएर यसकै विषयमा चाहिँ कुन निकायहरू सक्रिय हुन्छन् त्यो निकायहरूलाई चाहिँ हामीले आवश्यक निर्देशन दिने, आवश्यक कोअर्डिनेसन गर्ने कामहरू चाहिँ गरिरहेका छौं.
Authorities concerned and experts have recommended various measures to prevent snakebite and above all raising awareness.
सर्पले टुक्ने बित्तिकै ठ्याक्कै यति समयमै मान्छे मर्छ भन्ने चाहिँ फिक्स चाहिँ हुँदैन है. अब कोही बिरामी मान्छे छ, उसको जिउ कमजोर छ, इम्युनिटी पावर कमजोर छ भने चाहिँ अलि चाँडो मर्ने चान्स हुन्छ. अनि बच्चाहरूलाई टोक्यो भने पनि साना बच्चाहरूलाई टोक्यो भने पनि चाँडो मर्ने चान्स हुन्छ. अलि बलियो मान्छेहरूलाई टोक्यो भने चाहिँ अलि ढिलो मर्ने चान्स हुन्छ. अनि त्यसपछि अर्को चाहिँ टाउकोहरुमा टोक्यो भने अझ चाँडो मान्छे मर्ने चान्स हुन्छ.
Increasing human activities and the destruction of their natural habitats have led to more frequent snake-human encounters and snakebite incidents of late. Therefore, greater public awareness and precautionary measures are essential to reduce the risk of snake bites. Sabika Shrestha along with Pawan Barsasa with support from Bara district correspondent Guru Gautam reporting for NTV World.
It might be hard to believe, but snake bites are the major cause of deaths in Nepal every year. Active mostly in summer and in the Rai belt of the country, patients of snake bites throng regional hospitals, including one in Morang district. Vijeta Bandari, along with our correspondent Mohan Manandar, brings a report.
The monsoon is bringing more than just rain to eastern Nepal's Morang district. The cases of snake bites have surged as the hot and rainy season has taken over the country in full force. The Koshi Hospital in Morang's Biratnagar metropolitan city now receives around 15 to 20 snake bite patients every day, with the emergency department struggling to accommodate the growing caseload. The surge in patients has forced health workers to arrange makeshift beds in the crowded emergency ward. Hospital staff say the arrangement allows them to keep patients awake and under constant observation while monitoring for signs of venom poisoning and providing treatment when needed. Doctors are urging the public not to waste time on alternative practices such as faith healing or shamanistic practices for remedy after a snake bite. They advise anyone bitten by a snake or any unidentified bites to seek medical attention immediately. According to medical professionals, timely treatment at a hospital greatly improves the chances of recovery regardless of the species involved. The increase in snake bite cases come as more snakes are being found inside homes during the hot and rainy season. Biratnagar metropolitan city says reports of snakes entering residential areas have risen in recent weeks. To respond to the growing number of incidents, the metropolitan city has assigned Municipal Police Assistant Inspector Shambhu Ghimire to round-the-clock snake rescue duty. Ghimire's team now rescues between 10 and 15 snakes every day from homes, including cobras, kraits, and rat snakes.
किनकि धामन गोमन यो के अरे ढोडिया भन्ने नि हैन हजुरलाई टोकेको शङ्का लाग्यो तर भ्यागुताले टोकेको तर हजुरहरु चाहिँ नबस्नु होला हस्पिटल जानु होला
Along with rescuing snakes, Khimiri says he uses each rescue operation to educate residents on how to avoid snake bites and what to do if someone is bitten. Since snakes play an important role in maintaining the ecosystem, rescued snakes are handed over to the Division Forest Office before being safely released back into the wild.
Snake bites can be prevented, and knowing the right first aid can save lives. We asked the public how to avoid snake bites and how to respond if someone is bitten. Here's what they had to say in today's Public Pulse.
टोकेपछि त तुरन्तै सफर भएसम्म त्यो टोकेको माथि चाहिँ अलिकति खुकुलो टाइपले बाँध्नु पर्छ हैन यति मैले जानेको हैन अब त्यहाँबाट त मैले तुरन्तै हातखुट्टा धोएर मैले तुरन्तै अस्पताल चाहिँ आइहालेँ कि
प्रथममा त टोकियो वा टोकेको शङ्का लागेको बित्तिकै माथि बाँधेर चाहिँ अस्पताल जाने सबभन्दा श्रेयकर हुन्छ
सर्पले टोक्ने बित्तिकै चाहिँ औषधि एन्टिभेनम जुन चाहिँ छ त्यो चाहिँ दिने हैन युजुअली चाहिँ के भन्छ त्यसको लक्षणहरू देखा परेपछि मात्रै हामी औषधिहरू चलाउन थाल्छौँ हैन तर त्यो लक्षण नदेखिकन चाहिँ हुन्छ नि औषधि चलाउन मिल्दैन लक्षण देखिन कहिलेकाहीँ 2-3 घण्टासम्म पनि समयहरू लाग्न सक्छ
त अब त्यो लडिरहेको छ त्यसलाई अब चाहिँ बचाउनलाई त हस्पिटल त लानै पर्छ तर पनि के छ भने हजुरलाई त्यो हस्पिटलसम्म पुग्नको लागि चाहिँ त्यसलाई चाहिँ प्राथमिक एउटा चाहिँ उपचार गर्नु पर्यो नि त
ठाउँ ठाउँमा टोकी पनि रहेछ उपचारबाट सन्चो पनि भएकै छन् मरेको चाहिँ थपेको छैन त्यसमा अस्पताल ढिलो चाँडो भयो भने त मर्ने सम्भावना पनि हुन्छ
हाम्रोतिर चाहिँ एउटा फेटारो भनिन्छ एउटा डुमिनी भनिन्छ अनि तिरिस हुन्छ घडाइच भन्ने हुन्छ घडाइचको विष चाहिँ ढिलो चढ्ने भएको हुनाले मान्छेले थाहा पाउँदैन यसले टोक्यो भन्ने त्यस कारण मान्छेले सर्प डस्यो भने हस्पिटलै दौड्नुपर्छ झारफुकको लयमा अहिले लाग्न हुँदैन
उपचार टाइममा नपाएर धामी झाँक्रीको अन्धविश्वासमा पर्दाखेरि त अब मान्छे जति बेला पनि त जे पनि हुन सक्छ हैन अब यो बर्खायामको बेलामा झाडीहरू हुन्छ धेरै हुन्छ पानीले गर्दाखेरि अनि किराकाटीहरू धेरै बाहिर निक्लेको हुनाले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ अब त्यो सर्प किराकाटी निक्लिएर आउँछ जसकारण त्यो धामी झाँक्री अन्धविश्वासमा नपरेर हामीले हस्पिटल जाऊँ हस्पिटल गएर बेलैमा औषधि उपचार गरौँ र स्वस्थ रहौँ बचौँ
सर्पको चाहिँ के अरे टोकाइ अनुसार कुन सर्प हो भनेर झट्टै चिन्नु पर्ने पहिले त्यसपछि हस्पिटल जाई तुरुन्तै जानुपर्ने हुन्छ झारफुकतिर लाग्न हुँदैन
That was our cover story of the day. Now we move on to other updates. Chief Justice Dr. Manoj Sharma administered the oath of office in secrecy to the newly appointed Chief Election Commissioner Man Bahadur Karki. Chief Justice Dr. Sharma administered the oath of office in secrecy to the new Chief Election Commissioner Karki at a ceremony at the Apex Court today. After taking oath from the Chief Justice, Chief Election Commissioner Karki subsequently administered the oath to Commissioners Guru Prasad Wagle and Dr. Rajiv Subba. The Parliamentary Hearing Committee had unanimously endorsed Karki's name as Chief Election Commissioner on Wednesday. It may be noted that President Ramchandra Paudel appointed the Chief Election Commissioner and Commissioners on recommendation of Constitutional Council and Committee's endorsement earlier today. The Department of Passport at Tripureshwar in Kathmandu is one of the crowded places among government installations. The department prints passports in fast-track mode for those who are in urgent need and willing to pay extra for the service. With the recent change in the service system and the vendor, the department's printing ability has come down to 1,500 copies a day, while there are more than 5,000 applicants every other day. Diksha Awasthi along with Pawan Barsha Shah brings more.
As the number of people collecting passports at the Department of Passport in Tripureshwar continues to rise, police have been struggling to manage the overwhelming crowds and long queues. The congestion clearly reflects the difficulties people are facing in obtaining passports. The rush began after South Korea announced applications for its employment permit system, or EPS, prompting thousands of Nepalis to seek passports. Due to the overwhelming demand, applicants now have to wait about 1 week to receive their passports after completing biometric enrollment. Previously, passports were issued within 48 hours of the application.
5 दिनदेखि हो 5 दिनदेखि आज बल्ल लाइन पाछु हिजो चाहिँ म कहाँ धाएँ भन्दा 20 नम्बर कोठामा गएँ उहाँ सरले के भन्नुभयो एकपटक सर्भर र स्लट पाउने कहिले पाउने भन्ने कुरा म कन्फ्युज थिएँ के स्लट कति बेला पाउने सर्भर खुल्ने कति बेला उहाँ भाइले भन्दै हुनुहुन्थ्यो सोमबार मेरो काम चाहिँ 18 गतेसम्म जसरी पनि हुनै पर्ने म इपिएस को लागि आएको इपिएस को फर्म बन्द हुने अब धेरै छैन
आज 1-2 हप्ता जति भयो हैन अनि पाकै थिएन कति धेरै के अब 15 मिनेट जति खोल्नी फेरि बन्द भइहाल्यो भनेर म अस्ति यहाँ आएको थिएँ पुरै प्याक भएको भएर अनि मैले चाहिँ त्यो घर नजिकैकोबाट आज 1 हप्ता जति भयो मैले ट्राई गरेको अनि आज चाहिँ बिहान खोलेको भएर ठ्याक्कै बिहान फर्म चाहिँ भर्न पाएँ अझ मेरो त अहिले बेलुकाको 5:40 को डेट पाएको थियो
पासपोर्ट त अहिले अलि गाह्रै छ पासपोर्ट लिनको लागि लाइन पनि धेरै मान्छे पनि धेरै छौं
The department received around 2,000 passport applications per day a week ago. That number has now increased to more than 5,000 daily after the announcement of the new EPS recruitment scheme. However, the department is currently printing only 1,500 passports each day. The Department of Passports say the crowd has also grown because the new e-passports are not yet being distributed from district offices, forcing applicants to travel to the central office. Officials say the new e-passport system is still in its initial implementation phase, making it difficult to meet demand both at the central office and in the districts. The department also states technical testing of the e-passport printing system is still underway. Officials expect to be able to print passports according to the demand within weeks.
3 महिनाको स्टेबलाइजेसन टाइममा लिनु भने यो 3 महिना चाहिँ अलि एरर बढी हुनाले केही कुरा एब्नर्मल हुन्छ कि भन्ने एक्सपेक्टेसन हो हैन र अहिले लास्ट 3 वीक्स हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ एरर रेट शार्पली डाउन भएको छ जसले गर्दाखेरि अब सायद मेरो 1-2 हप्तामा चाहिँ हामी फुल्ली नर्मल हुन्छ जस्तो लाग्छ मेरो एक्सपेक्टेसन चाहिँ
In response to the growing demand, the department has announced that from Thursday until August 7, passport applications will be accepted in 2 shifts from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m.
हामीले आजको मितिबाट 2टा शिफ्टमा गर्ने भनेर डिसिजन गरेको हैन बिहान 7 बजेदेखि 2 बजेसम्म एउटा अनि 2 बजेसम्म राति 9 बजेसम्म एउटा किनभने खास गरी अहिले इपिएस को हुनाले कारणले गर्दा डिमान्ड बढेको छ मान्छे धेरै एप्लाई गर्न चाहन्छन् जसले गर्दा भिड पनि बढाएको छ केही हदसम्म त भिड पनि म्यानेज होस् भनेर पनि बिहान चाँडै सुरु गर्ने हिसाबले बेलुका अबेरसम्म गर्ने हिसाबले राखेको सुरु गरेको
The government has signed an agreement within a German company to procure and print 6.4 million e-passports over the next 5 years. The new e-passports currently being distributed are being produced under that agreement.
Before we check more updates, let's have a recap of headlines. Nepal's Prime Minister promises security and justice in his address to the nation. President Paudel urges peace and unity. 1 killed in Sirha protest as security tightens, curfews extended. Security Council discusses peace measures. Lawmakers urge against politicizing Sunsari incident, call for responsibility of all to prevent similar events. Snake bites rise across Nepal during monsoon season. Over 600 cases reported. Authorities urged quick medical response. US launches major airstrikes on Iran. Hostilities escalate into 5th month. And UEFA weighs World Cup boycott over FIFA plan. Infantino's $20 billion proposal sparks backlash. And now the international update. At least 11 police officers have been killed and 28 others injured after heavily armed attackers ambushed a police checkpoint in Pakistan's northwestern Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. According to police, the attackers first used explosive-laden drones to strike the checkpoint before launching a coordinated assault triggering hours of intense fighting. Security forces say 15 attackers were killed during the gun battle, while several police vehicles were destroyed or seized. No group has claimed responsibility, but the attack comes days after a deadly suicide bombing claimed by the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, also known as the Pakistan Taliban. The latest violence underscores growing security concerns along the Pakistan-Afghanistan border, where attacks on military and police forces have sharply increased in recent months. France has experienced its worst wildfire since 1949, with a massive blaze in the Gironde region, forcing more than 220,000 people to evacuate. The fire has burned around 30,000 hectares of forest, destroyed homes, disrupted road and rail transport, and triggered one of the country's largest emergency responses, involving more than 3,300 firefighters, military personnel, aircraft, and international support. Authorities say the blaze was intensified by extreme heat, drought, strong winds, and a rare fire thunderstorm known as a pyrocumulonimbus. The wildfire is believed to have started during a brush clearing operation near a power line. President Emmanuel Macron has called for forests to be rebuilt with greater resilience to climate change, warning that such mega fires are becoming an increasingly frequent threat. Business news lined up next. For now, a short breather.
Chinese startup Moonshot AI has unveiled Kimi K3, describing it as the world's largest open-source artificial intelligence model with 2.8 trillion parameters. The new model supports visual understanding, a 1 million token context window, and is designed for advanced tasks including software engineering, research, and multimodal AI applications. Moonshot AI says Kimi K3 delivers performance close to leading closed-source AI models while making its model weights and core technologies freely available to developers. Industry experts say the rapid growth of open-source AI is allowing businesses to build customized applications tailored to their own data and operational needs. Oil giant Shell has reported a sharp rise in second quarter profits, with earnings more than doubling to $9.84 billion, driven by higher energy prices during the conflict involving Iran. The company says disruptions to global oil and liquefied natural gas supplies through the Strait of Hormuz, along with volatile energy markets, boosted both oil prices and its trading business. Shell's first half earnings have surged by 70%, despite a decline in overall oil and gas production and damage to some of its operations in Qatar. The company says its strong trading performance and new production in Brazil helped offset losses from disrupted gas output. Mongolia and Japan have agreed to strengthen cooperation in electricity generation, power systems, and renewable energy as the two countries expand their partnership in the energy sector. The agreement focuses on training engineers, researchers, and students while drawing on Japan's expertise in building efficient, reliable, and cost-effective energy systems. The initiative aims to develop a skilled workforce capable of supporting Mongolia's growing energy needs and accelerating its transition to cleaner energy sources.
And now the sports update. Indian batsman Ajinkya Rahane has announced his retirement from international cricket on Thursday, bringing the curtain down on a career highlighted by his leadership during a remarkable 2021 Test Series victory in Australia. The middle-order batsman played 85 tests and 90 one-day internationals and 20 T20 matches, but fell out of favour with selectors after a drop in form and last played for India in 2023. Rahane scored 5,077 runs in tests, including 12 centuries, and built a reputation as one of India's most reliable batsmen in overseas conditions. More than half of his test appearances came away from home, where he often thrived against pace and bounce on challenging pitches. The defining chapter of his career came on the 4-test tour of Australia 2020-21, where as a stand-in, he captained a depleted India to a remarkable 2-1 series triumph. Now the weather updates, first from Nepal and then across the world. And before wrapping up, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nepal's Prime Minister promises security and justice at his address to the nation. President Paudel urges peace and unity. 1 killed in Siraha protests as security tightens, curfews extended, Security Council discusses peace measures. Lawmakers urge against politicizing Sunsari incident, call for responsibility of all to prevent similar events. Snake bites rise across Nepal during monsoon season. Over 600 cases reported. Authorities urge quick medical response. US launches major airstrikes on Iran. Hostilities escalate into 5th month. And UEFA weighs World Cup boycott over FIFA plan. Infantino's $20 billion proposal sparks backlash. And that's it for this edition of NTV World News Hour. Do join us through our social media and get the latest updates from our official website at nepaltelevision.com. This is me, Smithu Gising Thamang, signing off. Thank you for staying with us. Good night.